All right, everybody. All right. How are we doing? Check in. I'm back again. It was a really good trip in DC. Little quick one. Little turn and burn, huh? A little fast and in there and out of there, which is actually good. Spending more than like a day there is tough. What up, you guys? Hello. How you doing? What up? We got Raisin and Rapunzel as mods of Mercado Media. Congratulations. Gonna add you guys as chat mods. We got Danky and Nandas as well. But you guys are usually in the chat all the time. And we kind of need that, right? Because I got people that'll tune in when I'm viral, but I need consistency. I'm doing what I can to maintain. I haven't gone anywhere. I got gaming channel stuff coming up tonight that'll be fun. But I'm locked back in, ready to go and cover what the hell is what's going on out here. Thank you so much. What up, Peachy? What up, Protest POV? Thank you, old fart man of yesterday. Guys, we're also live on Twitch. Let me pull that open. Sorry, I had a stream on Twitch in DC. We were live on Twitch. We were live on YouTube. Facebook, though, no, I could not do a stream to Facebook. I don't know why. It just was not working, like, at all. So, hello. Hey, what do you get your YouTube plaque? I don't know. Hopefully soon. I gotta, like, message him about it. After serving in the military, I don't expect, like, I don't have my hopes up for awards or stuff. Like, I don't care. Like, in the military, you like can go above and beyond, and then you watch just the absolute worst people get awards, and then you just gotta kind of learn how to get over that. But also, I grew up in the everybody gets a participation trophy generation too, so it's like, if I get one, I get one. I guess I'm supposed to. It's 100K, but when it gets here, I guess. When it gets here, hope you didn't catch anything from the swamp. I don't think so. I really don't think. I really don't think so. Yeah, it was swampy out there. Very, very hot, humid. There's sweat all day yesterday. There's absolute sweat. But we got really good work done. It's all posted on the Instagram. It was a great Vote Vets flew us out. We stayed in Capitol Hill. Went out to do some advocacy, both to the representatives, talk to them. Do some media out there. Show that veterans are standing against Trump, and not all veterans are like towing the line of this administration, which I think is very important. So, and I got to kind of do it from a media perspective, but I also participated, which was cool to participate in. They said it looked horrible in DC. It was just hot. It was just hot. But beyond that, it was a well done event. Probably my second favorite advocacy event I've ever done in DC. Second favorite. Guys, share the stream out if you could. Hit the like button. Check in. Let me know where you guys are watching from. I got Alexandria. We got Peachy. We got Carrie in Oklahoma. What up, John? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. What unboxing video? 15 charged today in Minnesota for fraud. Any thoughts? Okay. Like Amy Bach and the same people. Crazy how we're putting full force attention into Minnesota again. It's almost as if like they took a fat L here and they just keep going. Right? And it just is what it is. Like, okay. I don't like it's fraud is bad. I wish the government would spend as much time on the administration and their fraud as they do continuing to poke and prod Minnesota. But if they try some shit where they bring thousands of agents here again, it's gonna be the same thing. Like, you're gonna have people out in the streets. They're gonna not be. It's not gonna be in sunshine and whatever flowers. It'll be like it was like that, but only probably more people, because it'll be like, oh, this is what happened last time. We know what it's about. There'll probably be more people out there. Okay, so but when it comes to sending Dr. Oz here and decaying Robert F. Kennedy Jr., which we're gonna have photos up here very soon. I think we'll get those photos up very shortly on Instagram and Mercado Media and other platforms. Because I was flying home. I couldn't make it to the press conference, but we had Chris June was there, and he took pictures. So you're gonna have photos of the press conference. You guys can see decaying Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Dr. Oz. It's the most unserious thing ever. But yeah, if people committed fraud like Amy Bach, which she already was convicted in Minnesota, all it is just double dipping on. They're literally just recycling the same thing. Oh, it's then we got Amy Bach again, which she was already convicted in Minnesota for fraud. Oh, she got 41 years. Okay. And what about what? Okay, anybody else too? Are we only stopping at like Minnesota daycare fraud? Wow. Oof. That'll really put a dent in giving Israel billions of dollars to continue wars in the Middle East. That'll do it. Dude, conservatives are just cooked, man. But I had good conversations though. It's really looking like I think the AI data center thing is gonna turn a lot of conservatives more, even more than just like what we're seeing out of MAGA or what we're not seeing, and then conservatives responding in kind. Like they just watched Massey lose. That was bad for him, right? 14-time Kentucky politician doesn't lose. He's libertarian. The only thing, literally the only two things he did against the grain, because he was towing the line with Trump and MAGA for everything. So it was Israel and the Epstein files, and you saw what happened. Israel spent $30 million on an APAC candidate, and then the guy that replacing him, like who is even that? And then you look at his. Did I save it? I was trying to bookmark stuff. It's busy to like scroll the internet and then also go out and do content and stuff. Where was it? I might not have it. Yeah, mosque shooting stuff here. No, well, I don't think I have it. A lot of conservatives like clean water. Yeah, they want the AI data center. Is like it's gonna be a big fight in Texas. There's a big fight in many rural places. But I can go back to my streams from last year or this year when I said, hey, right wing, red, deep red places, you and where you live is going to be the first place that gets absolutely ravished by this administration in terms of like you're going to have cancer in your water. Like you'll like seem fine. Like you'll be like paying bills still and you'll have your house, but your land will be polluted. Your drinking water, you're gonna have to buy all of your water eventually because I don't know, you're gonna have to get bottled water. And you're gonna have to shower and shower in acid essence from the AI data center. So, and this is all coming into rural areas first. You got city councils voting without even. That's why the flag thing in Minnesota was so cooked, because it's like conservatives up in arms about the stupid fucking flag when you're getting AI data centers put into your town. Good luck. I don't know, but like it's not something I'm excited about because it's gonna just unironically trickle down to where we live in the cities, because like it's gonna start there and it will just only continue and continue, and then we're just like you're not gonna have any natural resources or clean drinking water. Yeah, you voted for this though. Don't forget, MAGA voted for it, and that's why I don't like. That's what they wanted. They wanted this. They wanted because it owns the libs. We're gonna have AI data centers and the Palantir phone issued to everybody to own the libs. You can snitch on your neighbors for Charlie Kirk memes. They post Charlie Kirk, you can put them in the Palantir phone. Snitch on them. Which, by the way, also there was a report. No, yeah, a Tennessee man, this was based because fuck this, the same conservative base that cries about free speech. That was so gross. We all remember that last year when Charlie Kirk was murdered, and then ustedes many were posting Charlie Kirk memes after, because honestly, fuck Charlie Kirk. I mean, guy was a white nationalist piece of shit. Like I don't, you know what I mean? So immediately memes were coming out after he was murdered, and you had MAGA and conservatives snitching on their neighbors, their coworkers, their family members, to the social media, to law enforcement, to all types of shit, trying to get them hemmed up for memes. That was MAGA doing that. That was worse than anything the 2016 era left on the internet was doing. The early 2010s and stuff, and how the cancel culture, all that. Remember that? I do. I'm young enough. Good thing I grew up in that thing. I'm 32, so I grew up I was in my 20s during all that. So I was like, and paying attention to all that. Yeah, that was like 10 times worse. But it's true though. I mean, when it comes to conservatives and how they react to the culture war, they will 100% go harder than their left will on everything. Like 100%. Like they are what they accuse of like their perceived enemies. Like snowflake, cancel culture, and violent. Okay. So good news though, Tennessee man who was jailed over his Charlie Kirk memes, he's getting $835,000 settlement. Let's go. Right? Not enough. You should have gave him 1.776 bill, just one to him. Yeah, 835,000 because he's cancel culture, woke right, conservative cucks can't handle seeing Charlie Kirk memes. It's crazy, right? But like back in the day, it was, people that were online that were like, hey, maybe saying the N-word on social media, you probably shouldn't do that. And then the social media company would be like, oh yeah, you're right, that's racism. My advertisers, right? And then you'd get canceled. And that's how it worked. And then the right wing was like, free speech, that's not free speech. What the right? And then they rallied behind that. It was a whole culture war thing. And now we got the opposite. The conservative side and MAGA is doing that, but worse, because they have it wasn't just like random social media users that were trying to hold racism accountable on Twitter. It's like the power of the federal government, and like you had websites set up immediately from multiple Trump acolytes that were like trying to expose people for posting memes. You guys remember that? That was mad. Nothing like that happened anywhere else other than in the right wing world. But it makes sense because they already have that foundation when you go back to the Red Scare, right? And you had conservatives rounding up perceived communists back in the 50s and McCarthyism. Like it's all there still, right? It's all there. Like all they got to do is just find that within them again, which is like this was a taste of that. Okay, they're gonna do it again. They're not done. Like you guys, I want to be as hopeful and cheerful as I can be because I don't want to doom you guys to death. That's why I have other platforms, because it's bad. It's bad right now, real bad. And just because Democrats are gonna win ain't gonna change. Okay, it's not gonna change. It might feel temporary relief. You'll feel like, oh, at least we don't have Trump no more. But like the foundation is like not changing. And then also we have the Constitution being like stripped away back down to its white nationalist roots, because that's the Constitution without the fucking amendments attached to it is like just a white nationalist dream of like a country. That's it. Ain't no like there's the amendments were added for a reason. And then you have like you have what's happening in Tennessee, right? And then obviously how can we return back to trust? How can you return back to trusting that document after the Trump administration itself is destroying multiple amendments or like trampling all over them? Now, I mean, from all the right wing favorite ones too, free speech, Second Amendment, it stops there. Even though they really don't like the free speech one, it's like like free speech, but like managed speech. We like that actually. They can pretend they like free speech, they don't. They're liars. Just like they can pretend they like legal immigration, they don't. They're liars. They want everybody out. Like ironically, what Jake Lang's doing is annoying, but is really at heart what most of MAGA truly believes, and like what that part of like the right wing believes actually. They're just saying it. Same with Chud the Builder, and we'll get to that. But those two are like, what the right wing is unfiltered, okay, and what it is at its core. Because there's nothing else. There's no ideas. There's no help to the working class whatsoever. I'm not saying the Democrats have the answer either. That's my argument. It's like, this is like a symptom of MAGA, but like they're gone full send into cult mode and trying to get people in trouble for their social media posts, which apparently is like, you guys, I don't know, I pay attention to geopolitics, and you have like British MAGA and Tommy Robinson crying because the British government passed some bill, I guess, for social media, and they're like basically crying about their free speech, crying about their free, and then like you have American MAGA that's like rallying with them, like, oh, yo, free speech, government can't do the, but like they behave like that, and they will try to get you canceled all day. I laugh thinking about it now because I mean, honestly, you got to hand it to them because Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook totally stopped. At least for me, I don't get put into Facebook jail anymore. I was in Facebook jail every other week in 2020, all through. Actually, like that's why I created the YouTube channel. I don't have a YouTube channel or Twitch or anything because I only had Facebook, and I was like, it wasn't anything. I wasn't getting reported, but like just posting some spicy content would get me in Facebook jail. Well, that doesn't exist really anymore for me, at least. I haven't been in jail, Facebook jail, and like banned from posting in like 2 years now, and I haven't changed. So I bet you there's tons of right wing soy trying to report my posts because I'd be letting them know what's up. I don't hold back. So I bet you there's just flood in Facebook with reports, and it's going nowhere. Going nowhere because I mean, in a sense, they won the social media censorship debate thing. Now you have X, but you can just scroll and just see Nazi content on here and like other craziness without even thinking about it, and you're just shown that. And other social media is the same way, honestly. Like scroll Instagram, it's not really that much different than X, to be honest. What the fuck is happening? Okay. What the fuck? Oh my god. Okay. D type shit. So this is they won. Right? No more filter on the social media. You don't have your social media filter no more. And if you're getting put in jail still, like I don't know, man. I don't know what you're doing because I used to be put in Facebook jail all the time, and it doesn't happen anymore. So yeah, let's get to, so you got the Tennessee man getting 835,000 in settlements. There's the latest on Chud the Builder because he had a court appearance, and Jake Lang also went to go say hi and try to do just a farm Chud situation. Well, he's blocked from using the 1.25 million in his give, send, go. Right, he had ton. Oh boy, there's gonna be bad language. It's unfiltered on X, like no censors at all. And when he does content like the way he does, like there's gonna be lots of There's gonna be lots of pure racism on this because that's what his content was. Just running through the town, yelling the N-word at people. Okay, and trying to provoke black people to respond to him saying the N-word at him. Okay, and like doing that, and then he'd be like, "Come on, would you come follow me to my truck?" And like literally trying to bait black people to go and fight or like get like he was asking for all of this whole time. And like in the back, I didn't really want to give it this attention because this is truly like I don't know. This probably featuring his content might have gotten me banned from social media. And I can't afford that type of stuff because his content literally truly was just that, nothing else. No, no, oh, Charlie Kirk going to the university and debating people. Nope, literally just racism, pure racism, nothing else. So I never gave it attention to the stream because I like playing. It's literally racist. Like it's nothing else. There's nothing out of it. It's just him antagonizing black people and being racist, like blatantly. Okay. And so I didn't want to give it more attention, but I'm seeing it on my timeline as time's going on. I'm just like, this fucking guy, like he's asking for it someday. And then sure enough, like it didn't take long. So, but good because he should not have access to any funds. But look at how gross the internet is. So I donated $5,000 for nothing. They'll let him discourage you. Keep donating. I think his give, send, go is still up, but look at that. $269,000 to just racism. And when they say that racism is dead in this country, you should never listen to that person ever. Look at this shit. You are in the right. Just getting look at every minute, just getting hundreds of dollars. Or 34. Like just. And it was the same thing in Minnesota when we had the racist lady. Like you get people think that you get canceled for being right wing and loud and bigoted and racist. Absolutely not. You don't. Nope. Nope. No, you will get lots of money for doing that. That's why otherwise they wouldn't do it. We live in money. Like if you don't make money, you die here. So if it pays well, people do it. That's it. Okay, and obviously, yeah, they're probably deep-rooted racist for real, like Chud the Builder is. But there's a reward for doing this type of shit. And like when you see Nick Sorter and Cam Higbee or Zach X or others, they're doing the exact same thing, just censoring themselves. That's all it is. They're Temu versions of this final racist boss here. Okay, because he was doing it, and it was terrible. His content was very, very like, dude. If you watched any of it, it would piss you off. If you're a good person, if you are, but like, it's the same provocative type of content that you see like these Temu right-wing journalists do when they come to protests or when they go into the public try to provoke people. Same shit, just too scared, I guess, to say how they truly feel. Like, I don't know. So good on that. Oh, speaking of, here was Cam Higbee's appearance on Fox News. Here's how it went.
This is all intentional. It's Hamas's plan. The problem is that their plan is essentially to spread this propaganda throughout the internet by using...
Oh,
sorry, guys.
Oops.
All right, let's go to RA's. Cam, get yourself together there, my friend.
The launching
Get yourself together, Cam.
of missiles from densely populated urban areas like the Gaza Strip, it essentially... They want people to see what is happening.
See how hard lying is? See how hard it is? You like puke and shit, and like you can't control your body because you're lying. Fuck that. You lose control of your bodily functions, and like you're on national TV, like with Cottonmouth.
Happening. I'm sorry.
That's all right, Ari. I want to get to this.
I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous.
Move.
I'm
so nervous. You can, and then you have him on here, and I knew this is why he's kind of like falling off a little bit. Just before we get back to Jake Lang and show all these characters, they're all kind of coming together. They're all kind of conforming. If you haven't noticed that, any right wing type of actual like, and they name themselves Chuds now. That's what's weird. Chud the Builder, and you just put Chud in the name now. That's what in 2020 you just call them Chuds. But now they're calling themselves that, so it's kind of where it makes it easier. Makes it far easier to there you go, to like understand that, because and they're all going to, right? If you know, like, name a character that you've seen in the past year now that is like done agitation propaganda for Trump, they're gonna team up. We're gonna have a Temu Israeli funded Avengers squad, okay, and that's what's gonna happen. So that's why you see Jake Lang today at imagine claiming to be, so Cam Higbee's fighting with the right wing because they're infighting about Israel, obviously. Imagine claiming to be America first, but your only personality trait is that you talk about Israel. Oof. Oh, he didn't get ratioed yet? Like the day I have to agree with Carolyn Borisenko, who has me blocked, that's how you know Israel's just fucked. Imagine taking money from Israel to push policies they want that will send Americans to die in wars. True, but you're also an idiot. That's why the internet, do shit in real life because internet people suck. All right? So everyone's dropping the photo. I dropped the photo too, because of course. Yeah. I mean, you don't just stand behind Netanyahu and then go to Gaza personally and do propaganda without, especially at this point. Like, it was crazy how he thought he was going to continue to get away with it. I mean, Jake Lang isn't even getting away with it from his own crowd. Jake Lang's little crew is calling him out for messaging a 15-year-old. Right? It was like a sting thing, but it doesn't matter. He was like, yeah, he was calling her. Oh man, it was gross. It was gross. But he's been like, his own little crusader right-wing thing has kicked him out of it. And then anytime that he's going to show up to a new thing, because he's literally looking for like anything to attach to now, because he's been kicked out of every right-wing thing that he's tried or made. So the Chud the Builder thing, or the Chud the Builder's case, is what he was going to do next. And Anarchy Princess actually predicted it. Again, however, it's like they're all gonna team up eventually because they all only have themselves now. So this was 6 hours ago outside Chud the Builder's courthouse in Clarksville, Tennessee. It's packed to the gills with tons of Chud supporters. The irony writes itself. This bond has been set at an exorbitant $1.25 million. For self-defense, it's a two-tier justice.
You're outside Chud the Builder's courthouse right now. The fate of the future of white civilization
A fanny pack now, Jake?
is here. Will we allow the court system to weaponize against us?
Did he got kicked out of like theater or something, didn't he? He was this theater kid, which is fine. Theater kids are cool. I'm gonna shit on them, but like probably could have. That's probably the route he should have went, right? Or like he might have like failed there.
Give us two-tiered treatment, or will we stand up as heritage Americans?
Like the camouflage Lululemon squeaking, kicking over the ice sculpture, like that's a performance. Go do that in New York or something, and like get paid for it. Not that like you can go do actual performances for crowds of people that would pay to watch you do performances instead of this. Like this is crap shit. This is slop.
For Chud the Builder, who's been given a raw deal. He will wait in prison for the next few months until his court case, unless we bond him out. But the problem is the bond has been set at $1.25 million. It's unprecedented for an attempted murder charge, which was self-defense. This is two-tier justice. We have to stand against it.
You literally openly say the N-word and all types of racisms, and you're gonna blurt out bullshit. Interesting. You can't say like words like fuck, damn, and bullshit in Christian nationalism, but you can say like the R word, the N word, the all types of actual anti-Semitisms, not just like what Israel says is like actual like hatred. You know, you can do all that. It's fine openly, but when you gotta blurt out the woke swear words, I guess, the ones that don't really hit hard or whatever. Like so they all do that too. They do it on Facebook in my responses, and you got MAGA like doing censor words over like fuck or damn, but like then like they have no problem saying like worse. It's weird. So Jake Lang got kicked out. They put in handcuffs. In case anyone missed it, my post of what actually presented in court during Dalton Etherly, which is Chud the Builder. His bond hearing was confirmed. Cliff notes of the hearing. So 7 shots were fired. Not sure if it was 3 or 4 that went into Fox. Search of his vehicle found plane tickets to Turkey and then Rome. Why was he gonna go to Turkey? So why was Chud the Builder gonna go to Turkey? All happened in the courtyard. Looked like all within a 10-yard area for all the interactions. Fox was at the court complex for child support case. No audio available at the moment. Dalton had the camera and selfie stick, so still believe there was a live stream that investigators haven't gotten yet. He was approached. He walked around after initial discussion, still filming. Walked by Fox again. Fox got up. Verbal interaction. Chud switched to selfie stick. His selfie stick hands had reached into his right pocket. Very clear bladed stance with hand in pocket before anything physical. Very clear video footage. Update confirmed through another source. The information is correct. You're allowed to reach a defensive stance when someone is threatening, period. You did not even read it. I don't care. Why there's no point, especially defenders of Chud, there's no point. They're full on like white nationalists. There's no, and then anybody that's trying to be a intellectual argument for Chud, like, then you don't even want to give them attention. Looks like people like Jake Lang, who's escorted out in handcuffs, and his goofball racist minions are spreading misinformation, and it's getting amplified by Myron, of course, Fashion Fit pod, like this, the far right podcasts. The truth always comes out. Patience. Okay. Why was he out though? Jake Lang is escorted out of a hearing for Dalton Etherly, who goes by the moniker Chud the Builder, in Montgomery County Courthouse Thursday, May 21st. See if there's any updated news on that. New details emerge. During a bond hearing that was held Thursday, officials revealed new details about what led up to a shooting outside the Montgomery County. Damn it! Outside the Montgomery County Courthouse, involving a live streamer known as Chud the Builder. Dalton Etherly, known online as Chud the Builder, was charged with attempted murder, aggravated assault, employing a firearm during a dangerous felony, and reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon for his involvement in a shooting that took place outside the courthouse along Millennium Plaza on May 13th. During Etherly's live stream, he claimed the incident began when a man outside the courthouse pointed and laughed at him. Etherly claims he walked away after interacting with the man, but the man followed him and started punching him, which is when Etherly said he drew his weapon. Surveillance video shown during Thursday's bond hearing reportedly revealed Etherly approached a man with a selfie stick and appeared to walk away. However, the man was then seen grabbing Etherly and placing him in a headlock before shots were fired. When authorities arrived on scene, they reportedly found the other man near a water fountain suffering from gunshot wounds. He was flown to Vanderbilt University Medical Center in Nashville due to concerns of internal bleeding. The defense argued Etherly did not pull out his weapon until he was physically struck. However, prosecutors questioned investigators about Etherly's intentions, adding that before the incident, he made posts online about going free and riots in the streets, which should trigger the Trump's new policy about incitement, right? About like you post online like you're about to do some riots in the streets, and then you go out and like, well, even that, I think if you say that, they're gonna come after you. But and then you go organize something in the streets, like the feds are supposed to go after you now. Like it's supposed to be an automatic thing. According to the Associated Press, Etherly is known to film himself saying racially derogatory statements to black people in public settings, as I told you guys. In fact, prosecutors brought up Etherly's behavior online and mentioned that he is known to confront people in public for content, attention, and money. The defense argued that posts that were made weeks or months before the shooting should not count as provocation, but it lays down a pattern. This was gonna eventually happen because of his behavior. As videos were played in court, another live streamer was reportedly removed from the courtroom and taken into custody after making comments. Ew. Is this your reporting? Another live streamer? Really? Jake Lang is on a live streamer. Okay. I can't read this article now. This article's shit now. You couldn't take 3 minutes to look in, like really? It's not like Jake Lang's like an unknown character here. Terrible article now. I'm not reading that anymore. We'll have to wait for some fresh reporting because whoever wrote that article is lazy as fuck. Lazy. Just a random, I don't know, some live streamer got kicked out. What do you mean, bro? Random live streamer. Yep. We'll see how this all plays out. I'll give you guys daily court updates, I guess, on how all that's going. But right now, he can't. He was denied a bond reduction, and he can't have access. Judge rules that Chud the Builder, shall he post bond, will be required to wear a GPS monitor, surrender his weapons, avoid interviews, and be banned from streaming or tweeting about it. Oof. Dang. Yeah, so that part might be harder for him than wearing an ankle monitor. He will. He'll get, like, you'll have a right-wing billionaire bail him out because they love this. So he'll probably get out, and then you'll have to wait for more. But he looks like he's gonna have conditions. He's definitely gonna have conditions. Yeah, see the Boys finale. And if you haven't yet, like, I can't, like, listen, you have to, I don't know. I want to talk about that show. So you guys have like till the Monday to figure it out. The season's done. So binge it now. But like, I don't know why you weren't watching it when it was out. So you have until Monday, and I'm talking about it. And if you're gonna have to miss, I guess, Monday. But you got Memorial Weekend to finish that show. All right. The last episode's out. It's done. It's finished. But I will be talking about it. So figure it out. Because it's being talked about. and you have conservatives online crying, and I need to talk about it, and I have people that are like, no, I haven't seen it yet. You have until Monday. That's it. I'm calling it. I haven't been able to talk about it this whole time. No, I'm waiting until all of the episodes come out so I can watch them at once. I'm like, okay, but you're really killing me because I can't talk about the show then for weeks now. Yeah, you better go watch it. You better watch it and watch it all. Not the best season, though. Sorry. I'm not going to. Probably the worst season of all of them. Hands down the worst season. But, I mean, it's still more boys. It's the boys content, you know? But, like, you know, I think the show peaked at season 3. We'll just go with that. Peaked at about season 3. All right, we got the DNC autopsy. What else am I missing? Show the builder stuff. He was hoping it was going to get reduced. There's this photo in court, by the way. If you guys haven't seen it yet. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah. They had Gen V character. Oh, whatever, bro. I mean, it didn't even matter in the main show either, so it doesn't matter. They didn't do anything. They drove. They didn't do. They turned a key and then took a trip. That was it. And they were like useless in that show. What else am I missing? Or I talk about, we get into the autopsy. Oops. Oh, really quick, some local stuff. So Zach X says he's going to vote for Tom Evanstead, who, if you guys don't know Tom Evanstead, he's running for governor in Minnesota. And he's also a registered sex offender. So in 1999, a jury found Evanstead guilty of graping an 18-year-old Richfield woman he met through a telephone dating chat line. Before he was released from prison in 2008, he was assessed to be a level 1 offender, meaning he is least likely to reoffend. Evanstead moved into a friend's West St. Paul home in August. 3 days later, West St. Paul police investigator called the landlord and said Evanstead had to go. I wonder why. And he's had further charges since then. And then Zach X goes, "You have no sense of humor, bro." Yeah, I guess joking around with a convicted sex offender is just whatever, I guess, now, huh? Like, that guy was at the protest at Evanstead. He came out and the protesters kicked him out. Like, they knew about him. It's crazy how Zach X, who's like the opponent of the protest, who's been around it for so long, has not a clue. Isn't that weird? You hang around something so long and you have no idea. You may get my vote now. It was sarcasm. Come on. Meanwhile, he's like literally doing he went viral too, which is so sick because, again, the right wing doesn't care. They don't. They can pretend about save our children. Say they don't actually care. It's kind of like Israel with like anti-Semitism, guys. They don't actually care either. It's kind of like, and then they kind of connect. It's crazy work. All crazy. But this guy went to George Floyd Square and then went viral on X for it. And people were like, look at this guy. He's so based. I don't even know. I think Zach X did share it. But he's like trying to do like Zach X content. Where'd he go? Yeah.
I'll make you famous, family. I'll even zoom in on you. That's what I thought, motherfucker. And that's what you get. That's what you get. These motherfuckers think they run the state. And we'll see who runs this fucking state when I'm governor. I'll run these gangbangers the fuck right back out of the goddamn Twin Cities. You watch me.
So you got the right wing teaming up with the registered sex offender, literally like doing the most scariest shit I've seen in George Floyd Square like that. Like, I've seen some shit in there in terms of like what we had to go through in 2020, and this dude just like speeds that. Like, you don't drive that fast through there. No, that was like the most aggressive thing I've literally seen in that whole block in a long time. It's like hearing how he drove through there and he's yelling racisms out the window. But yeah, he's running for governor, and Zach X, who's a character in our, Zach X is like the Jake Lang of ours, of like that like stays around. He hasn't like left yet. He hasn't stopped. He's from St. Cloud, and he keeps coming down to the Twin Cities to do content. So he goes, the city I won't give up on. He's not from Minneapolis, but he's just it's so cringe. Yeah. Like, ash to ashes, dust to dust. And then like he went and he found Tim Walz on like May 10th. Tim Walz did a run past the church protest.
Yeah. What do you think about all the tax fraud going on in our state right now?
Well, I think we're putting people in jail for it.
Are we? I'm so glad you said that. What can I do to help you put people in jail?
Well, I think just if you see people that you think are out of order, you can contact the BCA.
BCA?
Yeah. They're great at it, so.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Hey, what about those walls going around your property? Is that like deporting everybody that can't get in?
These guys are going to grab you if you don't pull off, but we're just doing the job.
I just fucking got the fucking troll governor. What?
Of all the, and this was, I think it was, what day it was, May 10th? It was a Sunday. So I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like, I talk about politics a lot. I get it. There's not one Sunday I think I can think of in which I'd be excited to troll a politician. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't matter. Like, not even a Republican. I'd be like, you know what? I'd rather do anything else. I'd literally rather. I'd literally rather do like just sit there, just fucking do nothing, and just look at the sky, you know, or whatever. Like, I had softball that day, and then I'm like looking at this, and I'm like, and it reminds me of when Cam was really excited when he stole one of the protesters' helmets in Portland, and then it said, this is the greatest trophy I've ever had. And it's like, what, dude? Like, I had to think about, like, it was fucked up what he did to that protester and stealing their shit, but like, it was like, he's like, this is one of my best memories ever. I'm like, are you like, how? Like, you've never had better memories, or like you don't have anything else going on? Whoa. They unbanned Destiny from Twitch. Ooh. He's rebanned. Never mind. Destiny's another big streamer. He's had to start streaming on YouTube because Twitch banned him like years ago. Never mind. He's banned. He looks like he's banned again. Oh, that was quick. All right. So what else? So yeah, there's Zach X stuff going on. This is what he does, and it's the same thing you guys will see like Cam Higbee and them do, but it's really Temu. Really quick. Taking pictures of people. I captured a drug deal. Driving by in his car at the Whipple building.
Wow. You're uncaged animals. Hey everybody. This is Governor Walz's house. Retard! 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 Retard!
This is right-wing content. But like I told you, it gets worse because it's like there's a scale, and you go from that to like Chud the Builder, who is doing N-words to black people and like trying to provoke them to kill them, actually. Which is what he tried to do. But that's what he was trying to do the whole time, and then almost was successful in it. But like the people like Zach, they're doing the exact same thing, just Temu. And like it's pathetic. And then we're expected to like have honest debate and talk with the right wing. This is who the right wing is. Ain't nothing to debate or talk to, other than like coming to like, if anything, right wingers, if you're tired of MAGA, you like come. I'm about like class war. I ain't about right and or Democrats and Republicans. Their Democratic Party is bad, the two. I'm about like the working class and ending Middle Eastern wars. and act like not the Nazi America first thing, but like actually investing into our infrastructure, our healthcare, our bridges, our roads, like our actual future, instead of giving all of our money to foreign wars, like Israel getting money right away. But like most of my shit is like the working class now. Like, I don't care. Like I'm not trying to get anybody into like voting for the Democratic Party. I'm not gonna canvass or anything. Like I'm not interested in that. Number one, I'm a journalist. We should be doing canvassing anyways. I never have. But like if you've been watching thinking I'm like a Democratic Party influencer, I'm not. And I'll probably be annoying to people when it comes time to the election because I'm gonna be calling Democrats out too, and you have been. Because we can't go back to a status quo. We can't have like, oh, well, it's just temporary. We can't have like a Biden type of situation. Oh, let's like have a transitional period, but then do nothing to hold Trump accountable. Can't have that. Can't have like a Democratic Party like that. We would literally go right back. Like this fucking Zach X could be a politician in Minnesota because the right wing has never held accountable for anything they do. And then they feel emboldened when you don't see accountability, and then they go in like he's fucking with like old people and like their kids at protests. Okay, because there's no accountability from the top. There's no trickle down accountability in the right wing, so they feel emboldened for that. What else? Expose them. I mean, they expose themselves. There's nothing really to expose, unless you talk about like the politicians, but when it comes to these types of people, it like doesn't matter. And it's like the same thing with this. Like you're gonna, what are you trying to distract? The war on fraud? What about your war on Iran? What about that? What about the rising cost of gas? What about the rising cost of living that not just Americans are feeling, but the rest of the world? But don't worry, let's hyper focus Minnesota again. Yep, let's do that. That's worked out so well. And you're like 90 million. Good job. Congrats. All that money is going to go right to Israel tomorrow. Stat. They need missiles. So what does that even mean? So it's like they're trying to sell Americans as if like, oh, we're going after crime now. What was the mass deportation thing for? Why'd you have Greg Bovino and Kristi Noem while you had Pam Bondi covering up the Epstein files? At this all happening at the same time. Thousands of agents pouring into cities to get rid of the worst, which never happened. Didn't happen. We got the Channel 5 thing we should watch too at some point, maybe today. But he interviewed ICE agents, and they revealed a lot. Like they were like they had their faces covered and stuff. Typical. I'm talking like they had it was like blurred out so that way they could be honest, or as honest as I guess they are. But Americans, yeah, they should deserve to know where their taxpayer money is going. Like Israel and war in Iran and continuing forever wars in the Middle East, actually, which Trump campaigned on that. So again, I don't know why the world in the White House, the whole American institution of power is like hyper focused on Minnesota daycares. Who fuck at the end of the day, glad that they're held accountable. Glad Amy Bach is in 41 years in prison for more fraud than 90 plus million. It was like 200 some million. So I don't know what the fuck that number is, but she committed more fraud than that. So she's in prison forever. Good. Same with everyone else that did it. No idea why this is a national story. Do you know why? Actually, I do know. I know why it's a national story. It's to distract from the failure of the release of the Epstein files, Trump's failure in Iran, Trump's failure as a president. Because otherwise, like, you wouldn't have the White House doing this and hyper-focusing Minnesota. But also because Minnesota kicked the Trump administration's ass this winter. Paid the heavy price for it. Tons of immigrant families were torn apart. 2 murders that are still covered up to this day with Renee Good and Alex Pretty. And then tons of Minnesotans brutalized that are still haven't recovered from that. So it's not like it was, oh, we got them. It was like 3 months straight of just constant, nonstop. And then you had the media too, the right-wing media attacks that just never end because they get money. It's grift. See, it was just a lot going on at once, and then now here they're back again. I don't think I listen. I think they had the political capital in terms of like the propaganda they produce back before back before Operation Metro Surge and before the war. I'm sorry, you decided to bomb Tehran, and then further entrench our country into Israel when you ran to stop that. So you could have probably gotten away with more mass deportation stuff and maybe more federal pushing around blue states for sure. But guess what? You launched another war. So, and then also Americans are directly feeling the impacts of it. It's not like, oh, war happening over there. That's we support our troops and hope for the best. It's like you literally go see the gas prices every day rise, cost, and then they're not going to come back down either. They're not going to. I'm sorry, like the cost, it's going to be bad. Cost of goods, terrible. That happens with war. But Trump did that without telling the American people, hey, Americans, we're going to go to war. It was after the fact, and then we get a different reason every week. It was for 47 years. Israel, the hostage crisis of 79. I don't give a fuck. It's 2026. We're not in the 70s. We're not in the 80s. I was born in the 90s, W90s. It is 2026. We're in the future. We have AI data centers that are about to replace our natural drinking water. I gives a fuck about what Iran is doing to Israel. I don't care. Do not care. Just cut all funding to Israel. Cut them out. Fuck them, honestly. Like, at the end of the day, we got problems at home, actual serious ones that are going to like destroy our way of life and like society because city councils keep voting to pass these AI data centers also against the will of everybody that lives in that town, including mostly conservatives. There's going to be a big battle in Texas over that. And Greg Stoker put me on. I might be making my way down to Texas. You got in Temple, Texas, they're building a giga chungus AI data center hub for the data centers in Texas. Like Texas is going to just be an AI data center state. And that is like when you already have oil oligarchs there, and then you're going to have tech oligarchs with the AI, and you're just going to be the natural resources in Texas are just going to be all tapped out, and they already are in a lot of these smaller towns in Texas. And like they're going to put more data centers on I think Fort Bliss and whatever Fort Hood is called now. Sorry, I don't know. I haven't been there since, I don't know, whatever the name is. What's it called now? Or did they return it back? I think it's Fort Hood again, isn't it? I don't know. Is it Fort Hood again still? Whatever. Yeah, you got Bliss and Hood that are getting data centers put on base. They're going to be civilian operated. Hold on. Here it is, though, so you know I'm not just making it up. Texas has rapidly emerged as a premier global hub for AI data centers. Here, just March 24th, how Texas could have more AI data centers than anywhere else in the world. It's going to be a hub. Greg Stoker told me all about it. He's from Texas. He's going to be running for office in Texas, too, as an independent. And he has a chance, too. But he told me about all this. And, like, this is an issue that, like, everyone is against. Like, kind of like conservatives in Texas. They're organizing and shit. Okay, because obviously, like, they're gonna have to, like, or you get AI data centered and you lose all of your drinking water. And that's crazy that Greg Abbott continues to sell out his state to corporations like this, right? And I'm hoping, and that's what I'm hoping. Like, man, like the people that live in Texas are not gonna go for this because it's like, man, I don't know. That's the place where you think like federal, like, I don't know, heavy libertarian. I think, right? At least, like, I don't know. We'll see, I guess. But I hope that there's some pushback in the city councils in Texas, especially in Temple, Texas, which I think there was another city council meeting last night at like 7 o'clock. But this is what's rapidly happening at the same time as everything else too, and that's why I'm gonna keep covering this as time goes on. In Minnesota, we have our own AI data center issues as well. Going to be plugging into that. Texas Standard. This Pacifico project is in West Texas, but these private power plants will pop up all over the state. Where are we going to see them? These kind of private grid projects that are being built for data centers are going to be in West Texas. That's because a lot of these developers for these huge data center campuses think that natural gas is the best way to power these kind of complexes. And of course, West Texas is very abundant in natural gas. Well, we will see them scattered across the whole state. So then what does that mean though? Yeah, you got natural gas in West Texas. What about the rest of it though? I don't know. ERCOT expects around 24 gigawatts for new data centers by 2031. Is there a good way to visualize how much additional energy this is? Yeah, it's like roughly adding another Houston metro area to the state. I'm born and raised Texan. We don't want that bullshit here. I'm from Texas, bro. We're for data centers here. I don't think so. I think you're up. I think you're wrong. That's what I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go there and find out. I'll talk to conservatives and everyone. And I bet you, Texas, like all across the board, they'll be like, no, we don't want that. You guys want another Houston worth of population? And actually, no, it's not population. It's energy consumption. Energy consumption. It's pretty rural in parts of Texas already. How is the internet really good? And are you really that well connected to the cities? I know in Minnesota, some rural parts of Minnesota struggle that way. I mean, not as bad as other states in their rural parts of their states, but definitely have different realities. That's a lot of, I mean, that's not good for, it's just not good. You mentioned Texas has a lead in this industry because we approve air pollution permits faster than any other state. Texas just permits everything quicker, so it's easier to build a power plant that pollutes. You can get air pollution permits quicker here. That's crazy. They're just going to destroy all of Texas's natural anything. Except for gas, natural gas. That's fine, I guess. For Texas, it's usually about 3 or so years if you get in line now and wait to connect the grid. But in a state like Virginia, for example, it's 7 years. Wow. Wow. In Texas, you can just start right up, huh? Just send it. Don't even no red tape at all. Huh? Like no inspection or anything. Like just putting pollution in the sky. I don't know what it's like in Minnesota. It's not right away though. So it's hard to say that because especially now a lot of these power plant developers are kind of running into supply crunch just because everybody is rushing to build. And that's exactly why it's also bad. It's bad in general, but then now you have them rushing to build them because you're going to have competing AI companies and corporations trying to get the land before others can. This is so bad, you guys. This is really this is actually, I mean, I do what I can not to scare y'all on culture war nonsense shit, right? Like I will never do that to you guys about some absolute horse shit and get you guys all riled up about worthless shit. About he said, she said. Absolutely not. I'm not, no. But when it comes to real things like this that affect like everybody and no matter what your politics are, this is something that will affect your way of life immediately. In terms of like you will have health concerns from the poor quality. You'll have water to drink, but it's gonna have chemicals in it and more pollution, and you have more pollution in the air because these AI data. There's no restrictions in Texas. So Greg Stoker, who's from there, put me onto the situation. We talked about this for like hours yesterday. And he was actually, I think he's going to be having like a documentary. Texas, And I actually met with some. I'll probably be going down there. I don't want to. I have to subscribe to Bloomberg. There's got to be a YouTube article on this now. And then yeah, Kevin O'Leary fight how data center boom will impact Texas. Oh boy.
Today I'm getting a tour of one of Jane Street's training data centers here in Texas from Ron Minsky, who co-heads the technology group, and Daniel Pontecorvo, who has the physical engineering team. Thanks for coming out here to do this.
Thank you.
Cool, let's get started.
So here's one where
It's like Metal Gear Solid 4. Anyone that's only a certain amount of people will get that. It's
we have our training cluster of GP300s and VL72.
Are you allowed to say what is currently happening on this cluster?
What actual training jobs are running right now?
High level.
We do a bunch of different kinds of models. Some of the models are for training LLMs. Some of the models are for training all sorts of custom architectures that are more adapted to the trading problems and the trading data sets.
Earlier, you were explaining to me that this was originally not a facility that was built to handle 200 kilowatt racks. And so you had to retrofit it to be liquid cooled and everything.
You know, these cabinets, these GP300 cabinets, consume at peak about 140 kW each. Compare that to traditional air cooled, you're talking about 10 to 40 kW, so a lot more. So on the perimeter here, you can see some of this air cooling equipment here that would have fed a traditional air cooling.
I'm like, that's a lot of power that it's consuming. That's like one thing. That's like one little bracket of this. And like, look how big, look how many there are. Oh, you know, it was consuming a lot less. Or it could do a lot less with the air cooling. With the water cooling, we can really crank this thing up.
New tonight, the Trump administration released an action plan to win the global artificial intelligence race. It includes potentially loosening laws that combat climate change in order to build AI data centers faster. KVU's Daranisha Heron spoke with an expert to find out the pros and cons for Texas.
Data centers to help power artificial intelligence are popping up all over Central Texas. According to Baxtel, a platform that tracks data centers, there are 52 in Austin alone.
We've already seen a dramatic expansion of data centers here in Central Texas.
UTAI professor Kenneth Freischman says with the Trump administration's new AI action plan, which includes expediting permits to build data centers faster, Texas will likely see an even larger increase.
So the expansion of data centers in Central Texas brings a lot of opportunities in terms of economic development, job growth, generally good.
What type of job growth? For the contracted construction company that probably got no bid because they're friends with Greg Abbott and Trump, and they get to go in and build all of them, and it's like one company, maybe. What the fuck you mean create jobs? This is the right wing. They say this for everything.
Generally good for the economy of the region.
At the same time, these facilities need a lot of energy to operate.
A lot. And natural resources, and it's like it's bad. Like we're just gonna have power outages here.
Even before the president's announcement, ERCOT, the state's grid operator, predicted electricity demands will double by 2031. Partially due to these facilities. President Trump's new plan could loosen clean air and water protection laws to help speed up the building process.
It's important to consider the water and energy needs of these data centers.
What about the water and energy needs of the people that live in the town? Wow. It's important to think about what will the data center, think of the data centers. They need water. This is crazy. Hey, thank you, Carl Jacobson.
And to balance that with the water and energy needs of residents of Central Texas. We've seen some challenges in recent natural disasters where there have been water or energy shortages, and it's important that we make sure that our infrastructure is sufficient.
And lawmakers have said they are concerned about the impacts of these large energy users, which is why they made sure to pass Senate Bill 6 this legislative session. It gives electricity managers the ability to shut down power to large consumers during emergencies.
They're going to shut your power off to keep the AI data center rolling.
It went into effect immediately. In Austin, Darren Shaharan, KVUE News.
Wow. It's hot. Like, you're going to be, whoever has to go work at the data center in Texas is going to be sweating their ass off. At least 10 AI data centers are coming. Abilene emerges as major hub, but I thought
as AI technology continues to gain more momentum in our everyday lives, the state of Texas is now seeing more data centers being built. Over in Abilene, the Stargate facility is under construction, and it's expected to stretch across 1,100 acres of land.
It's a lot of AI data center land. My goodness, it's like a military base.
Media partners at Texas Monthly asks if the conservative town is now embraced.
A conservative cowboy town embraces the AI revolution. Crazy.
The AI revolution. We've got Christopher Collins with us tonight. He is the writer behind this article that we're talking about, and he is joining us now for this discussion. Chris, thank you so much for joining us. You know, some people might be wondering why Abilene was chosen for this project.
Yeah, sure. So, you know, I think there are three main reasons why Abilene was selected. You know, first, if you look at Abilene from top down, you know, this is a mid-sized city in west central Texas, about 130,000 people. There are no other big cities around. And if you're a developer trying to build a big data,
there ain't shit there. That's what he's trying to say. He's trying to dance around. Ain't nothing there. I'm going to put data. There are people there, though. There are people there. But like, ain't nothing there. We're going to build on it. Just trying to beat around the bush. Not really connected to the cities and blah, 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 blah. They're going to go after all the small rural towns first. And then make them AI data centers. I didn't know there was going to be AI data centers, but I knew it when MAGA and I read Project 2025 that these rural parts of red states are going to get fucked hardest by this administration first. But because like you're going to have perception that you're winning the culture war, I guess, and like you see, you know, all of the extraneous bigotries of the culture war, like you feel good because Trump owns the libs or something. But like he's destroying your water supply or your town. That if you do like your small town that you have left, and you know it's a small town and it's dying out maybe or whatever, you're gonna have big giga data centers put there and just really just finish it off.
Center, you know, that's exactly what you're going to want is all that space. A second reason is that we have a lot of natural resources here, plentiful natural gas. We have solar, we have wind. And wind, we have a lot of wind. And so all those stand to factor into that energy matrix, which is good because these data centers, especially AI data centers, are going to use a lot of power. We're also developing some new nuclear power technologies here at Abilene Christian University that may factor into that energy matrix at some point. But a third really important reason, I think, why Stargate came to Abilene, and it can't really be overstated, is that the city of Abilene and Taylor County entered into a tax abatement agreement for an 85% abatement over 10 years to get Stargate to come here. And if you're thinking about a $3.5 billion project, that's a lot of savings. The completion date's later this year, so I think it's a pretty impressive timeline to reach at the moment.
It looks like a military base.
Sure. And Chris, you spoke about all of the benefits for Stargate to go to Abilene, but what does Abilene get out of this deal?
For one, you know, I think we get some
jobs.
Bragging rights. When I talked to the mayor,
we get bragging rights. He said we get bragging rights. I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that one, guys. Hey, you can feel a sense of pride and accomplishment. Oh my God.
Abilene get out of this
deal? For one, you know, I think we get some bragging rights. When I talked to the mayor, Weldon Hurt, here about it, he said something along the lines of, you know, we're going to have one of the world's biggest AI data centers right here in Abilene, Texas. Who would have figured? Aside from that,
who would have thought? Who would have thought? Not me.
You know, they're short term.
Hey, look at us with our AI data center. Who would have thought? There you go. That's what you get. You get a pat on the back and the idea that you have the biggest data center. Isn't that great?
economic gains.
Right.
There are thousands of workers here right now who wouldn't be here otherwise.
Oh, wow.
They're doing their shopping, they're buying groceries, they're getting a haircut, they're spending money. Hotels are full, motels, RV parks, all that stuff. And so we're seeing double-digit percentage gains over a previous period.
And then what happens when the job is done? And then you just got the team of the AI data center dorks that are monitoring it. Because like the flow of the construction of it all will end eventually, and then all that influx of economy that you have from workers are gonna go away, and then you're just gonna have this data center military base looking thing just suck up the rest of the resources in the area with the people that are remaining living there until they all leave or get bought out to leave, and then you'll just have Texas and other parts of the country just be AI places and not have anything else to them.
Sales tax revenues. We will get 350 jobs. And so because of that, permanent jobs going forward is what's contractually required for the abatement. So it's unknown once all these thousands of workers leave and go to the next city, to the next job,
exactly,
whether we're going to see really good long-term economic
why would you make
prospects from this instead of just the short-term gains?
Gotcha.
I don't know anything about money. I'm not an economics expert. You know what I mean? I didn't go to school or anything, but like that, it's just kind of a common sense, right? You got a big inflow of workers to build the thing. Obviously, it's going to take thousands of construction workers and other smart people setting up the actual data center part of it and plugging everything in, right? Yeah, when that part's done, they are all going to leave, and you're going to have just the staff that are going to work the data center, which is a lot smaller than the people that are there right now. It's a net negative. And then also, what does the actual town get from it other than sucking up the power supply and natural water? Literally nothing. Okay, I don't know. You get pride and accomplishment. That's what you get. You can feel good about having the biggest data center in the world. Isn't that great?
Let's talk a little bit about the so-called price of progress, because some people have complained about wear and tear on the roads near the site due to heavy trucks that are passing through. What are some of the other concerns that locals there are talking about? What are you hearing?
At night, from coming from the site, this used to be a very dark, sort of rural area, and now you can't really see the stars. About potential air pollution, from using natural gas to power the facility. There's water consumption. Now, the developers of Stargate will say, we don't think that this is going to use nearly as much water as your typical AI data center. This facility is going to use a lot of power. It's going to need a lot to do the process. It has, and locals here are concerned. Is this going to strain our local grid?
When we look at the state of Texas, you've written that the state has about 400 data centers, maybe about 90 more that are expected in the state. What does this mean again for the power grid?
According to Houston Advanced Research Center, I was talking to them about this, and they've studied the issue closely. The data centers we have in Texas already are using about 8.15 gigawatts of power. That's roughly enough power to electrify half the homes in Texas right now. And by the end of the decade, that our power demand total in Texas could double, which could.
AI data centers in Texas are taking up has half as much of the power as if half the state, just people living. Like just people living in there. AI data centers are meeting half of that for how much power they're already consuming. And then you're adding 90 more. 90 more. Not 9, not 19, 90 more data centers.
We put a big strain, and AI data centers are expected to be a large contributor to that.
Well, Chris, thank you very much for all of your insight.
Thanks for your insight into the end of the United States. Thanks for that. Well, that's going to be a battle, y'all. We're going to have to pay attention to the AI data center grid issues. Good thing I've gotten better at filming without stream, because I'm not going to have we're not going to have cell connection. Not going to have it. Got a good camera, though. What else we got? So, yeah, AI data centers are bad. And in Texas, it seems to be like Texas is going to be the hub of them. And people in Texas are not happy. They are not happy at all right? So, also, you got the... you had the DNC... the autopsy or whatever. So they, and this is all cringe. I think it's all stupid, to be honest, but And then also, like, what are you doing with your time? So if you don't know, Democratic Party had to put their heads together to figure out how the heck they lost to Trump in 2024. This was supposed to come out last year, but it like wasn't ready. And then it was released today, unfinished. What else are they doing? I'm like, wait, you release it and then it's not finished. As a you have a whole staff of just party people that all they do is just Democratic Party stuff and get candidates elected and stuff, but like what are you doing? Like what are you doing with your time? Like you didn't like do this. It's now we're in 2026. The election was almost 2 years ago at this point. And we just want to figure out now why or in their mind why they lost. So here's a statement from the DNC chair. When I was elected DNC chair, I commissioned an after-action review of the 2024 election, and I wanted to be honest and transparent with actionable and specific takeaways for the future of the Democratic Party. When I received the report late last year, I wasn't ready for prime time, not even close, and because no source material was provided, it would have to mean starting over. No source material? No source material. I don't know, maybe when Biden didn't drop out and stayed in, and then was like, oh, actually, okay, I'll get out. George Clooney said I should drop out. And so, okay, I guess I will. And then not having a primary, maybe that. I got you. I'll do it. We'll write it up for you. Not having a primary, L. Kamala Harris campaign, well, like, again, not like the worst campaign ever, but like was definitely mid and featured tons of celebrity show like appearances, like Fat Joe and other people that my generation and younger, maybe people my age, like would care, but I don't know. Sexy Red on the stage was crazy. Beyonce, don't care. Like I was like cringing through all that, but like the campaign itself, I'm not gonna say it was like the messaging wasn't terrible, but like it was in other cases. When it came to Gaza and Israel, terrible. That was bad. Oh boy, what else? I had another thing too. So it was the Biden, no primary. Kamala Harris campaign was kind of cringe, and also they pandered to the right. Yep, the campaign was like, "Come on, conservatives, you like my gun?" Like, we have guns too. Democrats have guns. What we got? We can wear some camouflage. Come on, let's wear a real tree. Let's wear a real tree together. That was like the strategy. It was like, I don't know. It was like mid and then also pander to like lost conservatives. That's what the campaign was actually. Nothing like hard focused on the working class actually. No message about ending wars in the Middle East. Which that's what Trump was doing. Obviously, he lied. That's why he cooked, because he didn't really, but like the staged assassination attempt, which I think was staged, and then other lies are like what Trump projected him higher, because he at least said the things. He obviously didn't mean any of it and lied, but he ran as like anti-war and like I'm gonna give you no tax on tips, and just lying through his teeth. But he has a cult. Democrats don't have really a cult. They don't have like really a leader like to rally behind. The MAGA has Trump, and he's dog shit. They rally behind him. So Trump said he don't know Project 2025. Yeah, he doesn't know it. He's never seen it. Doesn't know anything. Like they listen to every word he says. Okay, but there's no equivalent to that in the Democratic Party. No, and like they're good though, which is good, honestly. Like I do think you kind of need a leader though. I think the Democratic Party's missing a center, like a leader. I don't know, like fucking Obama can do it. I don't care. Like somebody, he can't run for president, but like have him be a leader within it or something. So you need somebody, and nobody is running that. Like it's so fucked. Like they're winning elections, which is good because we only really have I mean, when you Republicans suck, it's like, oh, okay, Democrats. That's all you really have is like a other option to vote for. So, but they really have no like leadership. Like the leadership is like Chuck Schumer and like Hakeem Jeffries, I guess, or I don't know. Like it's just not. It ain't giving like what it needs to. They don't meet the moment often, or like when we need them to, they just won't. Or like, hey, how about well, here's, hey, can we like maybe stop funding Israel? And it's like like overwhelmingly a left wing position, like even liberals too, actually now. And it's like, you know, when it comes to the Republican Party, you know, they'll give them all their racist, bigoted dreams, right? They won't get anything for the working class. You won't get tax cuts, actually. You won't get any more money in your pocket. You know, you're still going to have to pay an arm and a leg for gas. And, like, you know, all your money, all your tax money is going to go to billionaires and all that and all that. But, like, they at least, like, give their base the bigotry, at least, right? They give them something. Whereas, like, Democrats don't even, like, you have to fight so hard for every little thing. And it's like, oh, we can't do it because Republicans and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, it sucks. Okay. And it sucks ass. And like, you need Democrats that aren't like this in power.
The view of Palestinians is simple. Well, the Europeans treated the Jews badly, culminating in the Holocaust, and they gave them our land as compensation. Of course, we say it's our land. The Torah says it. But they don't believe in the Torah. So, that's the reason there is not peace. They invent other reasons, but they do not believe in a Jewish state. And that is why we in America must stand strong with Israel through thick and thin. We must, because that is the reason, not any of these other false shibboleths, why there is not peace in the Middle East.
So, and that's like one of the Democratic Party leaders. Okay. Nah, it can't happen. Can't have that. Actually, you can't have like any, I mean, can I just call us, we can't have any Israel support. None. Not even like a little bit. There's no room. There's nothing. There can't be any Israel support. Like not even, you can't have, like he literally can't exist in the Democratic Party. And if they do, it's fucked. And yeah, people that are like, well, you're making Israel a centric issue. We're not making it an issue. Our fucking politicians are. And our taxpayer money that's going to that country to continue genocide in Palestine and then just further more war in the Middle East. And then you have this shit. Hold on. I'm not done showing you Israel stuff now. No, now we're showing you all the shit. Look at is he the right? Where's his shit? It's been when you had the flotilla come in. Where's his account? It's like hidden now. So it's right here. My bad, it's in Hebrew. So, and he's getting ratioed on it. Exhausting whatever sympathy. There should be no sympathy for Israel. I don't feel bad for that country at all. But this was the flotilla. This was European, like, I don't know if there are any Americans in this, but like there's tons of Europeans that were like basically in a snuff video here. Like you see very similar videos from the United States when we did it with to El Salvador, but it's you know, this is something that Israel does to Palestinians, right?
Free Palestine.
Okay, it's gonna be just trigger warning. It's Ben Gavir. Got them all in stress positions. So again, this is how they're treating the European protesters. Imagine how Palestinians are treated, and then also off video. This is all on video. Okay, look at that shit. Look, the fuck is even that? Are they in like a kill box? Look at how fuck this is fucked. This is where ICE and all of our feds learn these tactics, by the way. They learn it from the IDF.
לא להתרגש מהצעקות שלהם, לא להתרגש.
You said BB was pissed about that? No, he wasn't. Like, not really. Maybe on social media. This is what Israel is. Ben Gvir is like what I'm telling you. Like, as shitty as these people are, and they are. Like, this is an absolute dog shit human. They just show what it is uncovered. Like, same with like a Chud the Builder, same with like a Jake Lang, right? They're terrible humans. You can see the true reality of like, okay, this is what Israel actually is. And then then you look at the other Israeli government officials trying to cover it up and say, nuh-uh, Ben Gvir, we don't do that. Nuh-uh. Where is it? Where's the quotes? I have you quotes. This is what they do to Westerners in public. Can you only imagine what it's exactly? You may not treat Polish citizens who have committed no crime in this way. In the democratic world, we do not abuse and gloat over the people in custody. Where's all of the Israeli government that are like, this is not who we are, Ben? Here you go. You knowingly caused harm to our state in this disgraceful display, and not for the first time. You have undone tremendous professional and successful efforts made by so many people, from the IDF soldiers to foreign ministry staff and many others. No, you are not the face of Israel. He is, though. And then why is he not fired? Why is he not removed from his position? No, I don't know, because that's what it is. You wouldn't be comfortable making a video like this with all, and then you have all of the staff here, because you can clearly see in the video there's like office type of people there that are doing like that are putting people in their books and shit. You know, there's like tons of like other people there, and it's just like part of the culture of it. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's stopping it. It's the culture of Israel, 100%. So they can say this all they want in terms of this isn't how we act. It is. You heard us in the propaganda war. How dare you? Basically. How would you show what we do in public like this? But there's videos of Ben Gvir going back forever, like being the same exact way. It's gonna be there's gonna be tons of that video, but let me see if I can find one. There's usually one of his older videos posted too. Oh yeah, here you go. So here's an example from Crystal Ball. They will celebrate ethnic cleansing and then tell you with a straight face Ben Gvir does not represent who they are. Literally. Here's an Israeli unit homecoming party featuring a display of their well-documented annihilation of southern Lebanon villages. Having a watch party. You know, and like this is what made me so sick again. I'm gonna keep talking about it. When October 7th happened, and the shift that so many people that were, I guess, aligned with me at the time, geopolitically, and like they demanded that we treat Israel in the same sense of Ukraine. And not one single time can I recall going back to a Ukrainian town and then they have a fucking video playing showing them defend, because Ukraine actually is defending their land. They're not like trying to advance further into Russian territory and bomb it and bomb it and bomb it and bomb it like Israel does to Lebanon and to Gaza and to other places. But like, it would be unheard of to go back and you're just having a fucking watch party of your imperialism. Like, we know the chain of command does that type of stuff, right? And you know, like the military will, and they'll sit there and watch the drone videos and stuff. But like, just having this just a public town square thing, I guess you can go and watch that. We don't even do that in the U.S. like that. Did they have a watch party for Midnight Hammer? Or for all the recent bombings? Well, also, too, because the U.S., it would have had to have shown the soldiers in Kuwait getting blown up. I want the American people to see that. That's crazy work. Here's Ben Gavir with the noose for a cake, marking his 50th birthday. That's not who we are, Ben. It's a sick society, you guys. I mean, and then here he is with actual Palestinian detainees. Same shit. Yeah, Ben Gavir posts videos like this all the time with Palestinian prisoners, and like they have no problem doing it with European. But if anything, maybe more of Europe will wake up to the reality, I guess. Because I'm not like Europe is no better than the U.S. on this. Like the U.S. helps Israel more, but it's not like Europe stopping Israel. Anyways, oh, ironically, Ryan from Ryan Grimm shared it 52 minutes ago. Just it's sickening in the country. Anyways, so I mean that was a big factor. Also, I'm trying to bring it back now to the Democratic Party and their failures in 2024, but it was absolutely a big factor was Gaza and Palestine, or sorry, Gaza and Israel. So it absolutely was a factor in why Kamala lost, especially when she went viral for telling the protesters like, "I'm talking, shut up, I'm speaking," or whatever. And people thought that was so epic and so based. It was not. It actually wasn't. So let's check this out. Here's a statement from the DNC chair. When I was elected DNC chair, I commissioned an after-action review of the 2024 election that I wanted to be honest and transparent with an actionable and specific takeaways for the future of the Democratic Party. When I received the report late last year, it wasn't ready for prime time, not even close. And because no source material was provided, it would have meant starting over. I could not, in good faith, put the DNC stamp of approval on the report that was produced. After last November's massive Democratic wins, I didn't want to create a distraction. But by not putting the report out, I ended up creating an even bigger distraction. For that, I apologize. For full transparency, I'm releasing the report as we received it, in its entirety, unedited and unabridged. It does not meet my standards, and it won't meet your standards, but I am doing this because people need to be able to... Is this not the Democratic Party? Oh, it won't meet your standards. Certainly doesn't meet the standards we say, but you have to deal with it anyways. Oh, wow. Trust us. Okay, let's check it out. Yep. You can read it here. It's like 200 some pages. Wow. All right, so here it is. Why the Democrats lost the 2024 election. Title page, nice. Build to win, build to last. Where? Oh, that was page 1. Leadership message. That was page 2. This is how I would turn in homework. I was raised conservative, though. They're so bad at this. They're so bad at this. And they're not going to get better either. Is what it is, though. People are riding for them. We're holding out hope. We got hope. Not even like, brother, no leadership message? Dang, it just says leadership message. Okay, well, that's page 2. Table of contents. There you go. Okay, there's an introduction. There's a summary. What's the electoral landscape looking like? Okay, what happened? What the fuck happened? State media and communication. Oh, no, state of media. Ooh, that was a little scary there. State of media, state of research and strategy, state of organizing and advocacy, state of technology and data, fundraising analysis, spending analysis, conclusion, appendices, notes for the reader, and some sources. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. Page 3. Introduction. In every election cycle, 2 major parties and hundreds of outside groups invest enormous resources and energy into Control. What is it? Control F. Fuck yeah. How about this? Gaza. What was that? What happened? What was that noise? Was that like because there's nothing in the article about it? That's got to be wrong. Let me try again. There's got to be something about Israel in here, right? Oh, by the way, in the military, okay. Nothing about Israel either. No Israel. Let me try that again. Maybe it's like lowercase. No. No Gaza and no Israel at all. Control F is how you go through a document and search keywords, by the way. You have no Israel and no Gaza in this entire... How long is this? Wow. What is in this? There's the appendices section. Not provided. Notes for the reader. The section was not complete. While we extensively fact-check DNC after action report in order to ensure accuracy, it is always possible that mistakes remain. We encourage, yeah, mistakes were made for sure. Like not completing it and then not having one of the biggest topics ever. Ukraine's got to be in there. Ukraine isn't even mentioned here? What in the fuck was in this? Gas is mentioned one time. Like, what about fucking inflation then? 18 times. Okay, 2012 adjusted for inflation. That's not okay. Adjusting for inflation. Adjusting for inflation. Adjusting for inflation in 2018. And adjusting inflation. More inflation adjusted. Inflation adjusted. Okay, that's also past tense from 2016 to 2018. Okay, that's nothing. Nope. 2016 inflation doesn't matter. Wow, more adjusted inflation. Candidate fundraising by more inflation adjusted numbers. Federal party committees. Any other keywords I should search in this dog shit? This is the official Democratic part. This should tell you. Actually, you know what? This tells you everything you need to know about the Democratic Party. Not even. I mean, they're banking on that. Hey, the Democratic Party is just the other option, and they're gonna have people vote for it because it's like that's it. That's all you got, really. See if is Brat in there? We'll see. Is Brat? We have 3 brats. No, that's recalibration, calibrated, and celebrating. So no brat. What do the conclusions say? Sure. I'm not reading this like the fact that it's already unwritten. I would be spending more time trying to get through this, reading it, than they spent writing it. Where's the conclusion section? Sorry. Okay, before appendices. Sorry, guys, you don't get a conclusion. You don't get one. You didn't get the Premium Plus DNC program. You gotta get. Wicked. Wicked. Not even in conclusion. In conclusion, why did we lose the 2024 election? This section was not provided. Couldn't provide it, you guys. Couldn't be bothered. Couldn't be bothered. Incredible. Why would you even? Why would? Here it is. I wasn't ready for it, and it's not up to my standards, but I'm releasing it anyways, and it has nothing that matters in it. This document reflects the views of the author and not the DNC. Then why are you releasing it as the? Why? This, I hate this. I fucking hate this party. Why release it? And like, as the DNC chair, what are you doing? Whatever, bro. Just fucking, hey, just hold on, okay? We just got to get Trump out of there first, and then we'll talk about it, all right? And we'll figure out we'll figure this problem out. We got to get Trump out first. Okay. Yeah, wow. What happened? No evidence provided. Guys, what happened? What happened? Not provided. National overview, not provided. All three of these states voted for Trump. Okay. On election night, the world watched the blue wall crumble. To return Donald Trump to the White House, states had consistently and reliably voted for Democratic candidates, including Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Voted for Trump along with Nevada, Arizona, and Georgia, which all have gone to Biden. Every swing state and district. Okay, why? It's like we know that. Duh, we saw it happen on election night. Man, dude, someone got paid big money to write this. Like I'm always reminded that there's like I could be getting paid a lot of money to be dumb and do this type of work. And like it's all over Washington D.C. Just fucking useless people that get paid millions of dollars to do fucking nothing. In 2022, Joe Biden was the president. Okay, why is this written like my 5th grade teacher correcting my spelling mistakes? This is written like a middle school paper. And then corrections by your teacher. This is a blatant attempt by the Republican power base to take advantage of a name recognition and tough economic conditions to push to an unqualified candidate whose job would have been little more than rubber stamping the president agenda. For what? The future, stupid. It's the future, stupid. No sourcing provided for several claims. Okay, so you clearly have, okay, so the red is the DNC responding to the author of this autopsy of why Kamala lost in 2024. So the red is like Ken Martin responding, who's the DNC chair. The sad truth is Democrats have lost ground at every level from inconsistent messaging and improper planning. Even as the policies of the party advances continue to earn voter support at the ballot box. Ballot measures for Medicaid expansion, nonpartisan redistricting, wage increases. Family leave appears to conflate family and sick leave. Does it matter? Does that matter? So you spent time to you had a staffer or some, oh my God. You had someone take time to fix that, but leave out a fucking conclusion. Or like an intro. Or hey, why did it go bad? This section was not provided. But they took time to whoa. It was sick leave, not family leave, right? This divergence means that the party and our candidates have lost confidence in the trust of voters. In the face of misinformation and disinformation, our candidates have proven incapable of projecting strength, unity, and leadership, and voters have drifted away. Yeah, I got you. It's because of people like Chuck Schumer and others in the Democratic Party that are leadership in there, and it's like the younger, more progressive voice of the left is getting shit on all the time. Nowhere was this more apparent than the 2022 Georgia Senate election, where Republicans supported Herschel Walker to take on incumbent Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock. That's because the Republican Party does not use political strategy. They don't have consultants. They have billionaires and yes men. And they're like, this person will just like do what I say. Do they have qualifications? Nope. Okay, perfect. Send it. And then you got the Democratic Party. I don't know how much money was spent to have this written. And they have think tanks and consultants and fucking group therapy. And like, for what? When your opponent is like, let's put up dude who has like brain trauma and like is a fucking a rapist and shit. Or like went to Epstein Island. They don't care. The Republican Party doesn't care. Like their candidates are because they're a puppet for the billionaire class. So then when you actually have like Democrats that are like, I'm gonna actually have policies and I got some things to do and change. Well, you have counter propaganda going at the same time from the right wing that never ends, and it's 24 hours a day, nonstop. And then also they control the podcast space, which is a lot of people watch that now. Democrats have like nothing for podcasts, really. I mean, what do you guys have? Other liberal left-wing leaning podcasts, big ones that like a lot of people tune into? I have more streams, I guess. Like people watch us on, or like other liberal like streamers. But you had Trump go on like every major podcast, which they're all right wing. Went on all of it. Nearly 3,000 people stormed the Capitol, leading to the deaths of 5 people. They really took the time to fact check some of the writing in this, but not the context, it doesn't look like they're addressing anything other than, John Boehner was actually, he resigned in fall of 2015, not 14. Wrong. See, this is why it's not ready. That's why it's not ready, guys. I didn't want to have to release it, but I have to. Pathetic, isn't it? Especially in this situation. Like, what else are they doing? You got people literally dying in the streets against Trump administration, or being brutalized in the streets against this Trump administration. And the Democratic Party, which is supposed to be the resistance party, apparently, or whatever the fuck. The resistance. I don't know. What are they doing? What the fuck is happening? Like what else could they possibly doing with their time? Because there's for sure 0 Democratic Party like officials coming out to the protest. Not a single one came out to stand with Minnesotans against ICE. Not a single one. You had some streamers come out. Hassan came, ironically. Hassan was out there. He was on the ground, toes on the ground. DNC, nobody. No politicians. Tim Walz, our governor, wouldn't even go out there. You got to give, I'm stupid enough, but that mayor in Portland, what was his name? Ted Wheeler or whatever. he was out there at the fence getting gassed. And Walz and none of them would come out. Fry told him to go fuck off, and that was it. Oh yeah, well go fuck yourself. And like, that was it. And now he's like hailed as a hero or something in Hollywood or whatever. It's very weird. But none of them, not a soul. And like, I'm noticing that from like liberal establishment in general. Like they don't come to the protests, or they don't talk about the protests either. Like bigger liberal content creators that like are trying to advocate for Democrats to win do nothing with the protest, or like don't talk to protesters, don't engage with it at all. They're most of their content stream is like, what is Hassan doing? What did Hassan say on his stream today? That's mostly what I'm seeing from like establishment, like content creators and people that are like Democratic Party for sure. That's all I can vote for. Which is, I guess, whatever. Better than fascism, I got you. But like, this shit only gives more fascism. This shit is only gonna, like, if this is the energy now under this Trump right now, brother, we are absolutely fucked. If it's like, sorry, hey, and plus after this, oh my, this is terrible. This is the Democrat, and like, oh my, this is almost worse than not really. This, you should have just not even released it. I get you. I bet you people forgot that there was an autopsy, like, waiting. So it would have probably been more strategic since there was already time. And plus, you are like it says here in the statement, you're already accumulating wins. So to then have the winter you had with ICE, and then the and then to release it the way it is now. And then it's like 200 pages. It's probably worse than what I've seen here, but I don't feel like reading 200 pages of slop from the Democratic Party. And then why would you, what source? Like, it's an autopsy. Like, like, you need a source for this claim. Divergent messaging. So just let's read this paragraph. The existing understanding works to a point. There is no doubt the presidential election margins would have been much worse without independent efforts to organize in the battleground states. The split ticket results of the Senate, House, and non-federal campaigns were not solely the result of divergent messaging strategies. There were also separate investments in direct voter contact. No evidence. It's an assessment of, I don't, whatever, bro. You can, they can play those. They can play those games. I need you to back it up with a source. My sources, I made it the fuck up. Except for not, it seems. And then also this report in general is just bad because obviously not finished, but is missing crucial things. Like, I don't know, it doesn't even have Ukraine in it. Like, we supported Ukraine so hard. Not really. Really not though. But like, it was obviously a major like geopolitical geopolitical happening within the country. Nothing about Ukraine, nothing about Israel, nothing about Gaza in this. Nothing about inflation other than inflation adjustment money. Or like, this is what Biden did because why is that not in here? Because I'm just going to be real again. I will hold Democrats accountable, and when they do something right, I got to call it. I'll say they did something right. Biden, the inflation rate was at like 9.7% in 2022 when Russia invaded Ukraine. That shit was at 3.2% when Biden left office. So when Biden was president, the inflation rate only went down because of policies he was pushing through and implementing, and bills that were getting zero attention. They did bring the inflation rate all the way, like not all the way down, but you're always going to have a little inflation. You should know that, but like not 9%. Fuck no. That's actually bad. People were right to be, calling that out and like why we have nearly 10% inflation. But it was also returning from COVID, post-COVID, and then also Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which directly contributed to rising gas prices and inflation. None of that is in here. Not like the Democrat. You're fucked. If you're a Democratic Party stan, why you know more about why the Democrats failed than the Democratic Party. I swear you do, because there ain't no way that you release this, and like it wasn't that long ago to like remember why it was so fucked. And then you got the inflation rate going back up now while Trump's been president, like a few points. Like I think like it's at like 3 points. It's still like not. It's like under 4, but it's gone up though. Whereas like, you know what I mean? Like it'd be different if when Biden was president in 2022, if when he got out, when Trump won, if the inflation rate remained at like 9 or something, or even like high, even 5, 6, 7 would have been bad. 4, or even high 4s would have been bad, probably. But he brought it down. He did. And then you got it going back up now. But none of that is in here. You can look at, you can control F inflation. I just went through every word that inflation is mentioned, and not one credits Biden was president that the inflation rate went down. It's like 2008 presidential general election spending, or 2016 or 2008 Senate candidate fundraising from 20, like, who fucking cares? This is supposed to be an autopsy as to why the Democratic Party lost in 2024. Not random nonsense. Slop. 10 seats were decided by more than 20%. Remember all of the shit you already know? We're going to write it again so you can, like, be reminded. But, like, not learn anything new. Remember when all the stuff you were paying attention to happened? That was awesome. Or whatever. That's what this is. Okay, giving you information you already know with corrections from the DNC that don't make any sense, and then entire missing sections. This is like Metal Gear Solid 5. Entire missing. Nope. You get no. You get barely a media section in the media ecosystem. You don't get a conclusion. You don't get an appendices section. No notes for the reader. And then sources. Empirical claims in the DNC After Action Report are based on publicly available evidence and are accompanied on a hyperlink to evidence supporting the claim. So it sounds like the author did provide sources. Or maybe not. In addition, a traditional bibliography can be found here, and more data is provided in the appendix below. We supplemented the publicly available data by interviewing more than 12,000 Democrats across all 57 state primaries. And where is that in here? Do you have interviews with Democratic voters in here? Bunch of irrelevant numbers. Just a bunch of irrelevant bullshit. Fundraising told us so. They're trying to figure out why the fundraising went bad, for sure. I guess that could be relevant, but there's no sourcing provided. So, this is bad. Because Trump is so bad, though. This probably won't. I mean, except for within, like, more liberal circles or Democratic Party circles, like, this probably won't. People won't even care because, I mean, Trump is so bad. Wow. Unironically, Obama. Let's remember 2008? That was awesome. Remember Obama? Yeah, have him be the DNC chair or something. My God, bro. Well, that's cooked. That was worse than I thought. No mention of any of the. That's crazy, yo. No mention of any of the major issues that were taking place. Just a bunch of consultant class dork numbered spreadsheets. Go fuck yourself. Because our consultants say, that's the Democratic Party. Our consultants. I'm playing this video because it's going to trigger MAGA that's watching too, because it's got their, it's got a David Hogg in it.
All right, this is it, people. Let's move. Let's go, 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 go. The Democrats made a huge deal about the fact that they were going to release an autopsy that delved into everything regarding what went wrong with the 2024 election. Let's just do a quick Command F and look through what is talked about here. When we go into inflation, there are 18 results, except every single one of them doesn't talk about inflation in the country.
That's what we found. They're the same thing. Didn't see nothing about inflation.
It's just about adjusting for inflation when talking about fundraising for the presidential cycle.
Which, again, is a Biden success that should be in there. It's not that like, oh, we need to do to, why is no right-wing propaganda about the inflation not in there? No, it's because Biden brought the inflation down and it's not mentioned in there at all.
When we go through and look up Gaza, for example, 0 results in 200 pages. Okay, maybe they just said Israel. 0 results for 200 pages. Let's see age. All it's giving me is page, not age. Okay, going down to the end.
Age is wild.
And are you fucking kidding me? This section was not provided by the author. There's literally no conclusion. Let me read this one sentence. The problem wasn't Democratic policy or party brand. What the fuck do you mean it wasn't Democratic policy or party brand? That is what decided the election. Our brand is everything. Our candidates are our brand. I don't know how the fuck else to say this and make it more clear, but if our party cannot come together and rise up and show people that we're the people fighting for the little guy, that we're the people fighting against the special interests that are making your life so much harder, we don't have much of a future as a party. I ran to be a voice in that room for our generation that they often don't want to listen to, only for them to publish this report and not talk about the very thing that thousands of young people were protesting about on college campuses around the country, not talk about the underlying economic conditions that made so many young people feel like they have no future in this country. We didn't need an autopsy to tell us the Democratic Party doesn't know what the fuck they are doing right now.
They're winning. But yeah, when it comes to strategy, because again, they're winning because it's the only other option, really. And people are going to go to the best chance, which will be the Democratic Party for now. And we'll see how it all plays out. Yeah, that's about what we found, right? Just went through it. Didn't read every single page. Let's see what else we got here. DNC autopsy. A DNC autopsy. Incredible. The DNC autopsy of 2024 is 192 pages, 0 mentions of Israel, Palestine, Gaza, or as we found, Ukraine either. Ukraine isn't in there because I searched for that one because I know others won't. But for Ukraine, I won't forget Ukraine. Don't worry, guys. But like, look at just to show you, right? Ukraine. Nothing. Okay. All of that, which is all of that should be in there. Ukraine needs to be in there too. Nothing. They weren't lying. The report's a mess. AOC, here we go. AOC interview.
Just want to ask you on the DNC autopsy report. You command F or search the whole document. No mention of Israel, no mention of Gaza, no mention of Palestine. Regardless of your views on that issue, it doesn't really seem plausible. That was a pretty big issue.
I don't think it's plausible at all. Even if you are a total skeptic, I would say here's my argument. Even if you are a total skeptic and are on the complete opposite side on this issue, wouldn't you want to even include that in the report, right? And say ostensibly, right? That's not my belief, but ostensibly that there's a claim out there, but we have found the data that does not substantiate it, right? Let's say you're on have a totally different view. The fact that it's not included at all is, I mean, that's nuts.
And your thoughts on the fact?
No, she said the fact that wasn't even included is nuts to me. Trump's they-them attacks, is that in there? Let's see how they-them is. Oh, well, I don't know about that one. I don't see that in the report. First Democratic congressperson to call for DNC. Yes. Yep, he's got to go. That's another fact. Yeah, Ken Martin's got to go after that. You can't, like, what kind of weak shit is that? Well, and by the way, too, the message that he put out is weak. Oh, we couldn't do it last year. And, like, it's not up to my standard, but here it is. Weak. Weak. And what else are you doing? Like, your whole job is to figure out why Kamala lost, and you don't have it. So this is Nicholas Wu. Representative Mark Vasey tells me it's time for Ken Martin to step down as DNC chair. There doesn't seem to be a plan to turn things around, and the clock is ticking. November is literally right around the corner. I believe it's time for him to move on. Clock is ticking. Thanks, Ken. The DNC autopsy report and the way it was handled is pathetic and emblematic of the chokehold establishment neoliberals still have over the Democrats. I mean, I think some of it was used by ChatGPT. It totally ignores how X and Twitter were used to convince America to commit suicide. I don't think, does it include podcasts too? Podcast. Wow. Podcasts. What? Why? What are they? Who? Whatever, bro. That's why I can't go hard for this party, chat. I won't. I literally won't. It's fucking nothing. It gets your hope up because obviously Republicans are fascist and bad, and then they get your hopes up as if like they're gonna be the ones that turn shit around, and they don't. They never will. Never will. People that are thinking they're going to, I mean, you're just, I don't know what's going on. But this should be everything you need to see about what the this is what the Democratic Party thinks about you too, by the way. Because I know there's a lot of people that actually do care, and like they want maybe you are a hardcore Democrat and you want to see more, you want to see change in the Democratic Party. You want them to be the progressive actual resistance party to Republicans. It's not going to happen. But like you want it though. You know, you want it, you believe in it, you know, and like this is what they think of you. Okay? That's what they think of you. There's the message from the leadership of the DNC. There you go. End of page. How about an in conclusion? In conclusion, this is what we think of you. Go fuck yourself. DNC chair Kevin Martin finally releases the 2024 autopsy, but immediately disowns it and blames the guy he hired to write it, which tells me also because it's super petty corrections in this. So they probably just like sat on it and were like, you know what it really was? It was like, well, let's not do anything. And let's just see how it plays out. Because last year, again, Democrats are winning. They're winning elections by a lot. So it was probably really like, let's not put out the autopsy because it could be politically bad, especially at a time like this when we're winning. And then now as like, obviously, Trump's war in Iran and like you got a massive coalition of people that are against Israel in terms of Israel funding. And that is an absolute major factor of the Democratic Party too. Right. Obviously, you got the Netanyahu's really close friends with Trump. Right. And obviously, the Republican Party will go there like we're seeing. But like the Democrats get money from Israel, too, and they get AIPAC money. And so because there's like a massive like, you know, like we got to stop funding Israel. The Democrats are down there. They're doing a Chuck Schumer. We can't give up on Israel. Can't let them. We can't give them up. We can't give up. Or John Fetterman. Like they don't want to own up to the actual issues, it seems. Because what other issues are? Because they're certainly not handling healthcare. They're certainly not handling livable wages. They're certainly not lowering the cost of living. So then what else? So then when you have the DNC, you get what you paid for. They paid nothing for the autopsy. The guy Kevin Martin hired to do the autopsy fucked up so bad is still doing work for the DNC months later on a different project. And it was free. No wonder.
This falls under the category, Mr. Wright, of you get what you pay for. You charged her $250 for a full day's work. She clearly came while you were getting dressed, stayed through the ceremony, stayed through the party, took whatever video she took of the tables at the party, went to the after party, went to another venue where you and your husband walked away together. So it wasn't that she didn't show up. It's that she didn't do what you considered a great job. If you went to the venue and you invited all the people there and you picked a menu and it turned out that you didn't like the food, you don't get your money back. This
cooked them. Hey, she cooked them though. And like without the meme stuff on there. Wow. And then the guy's still writing. Still doing Democratic Party stuff. This explains why the autopsy report wasn't released, but then why in the years since haven't you fixed it? Literally. Because they don't care. That's why. There's no other explanation. especially at a time like this, apparently, right? Fuck. Insane. Martin selected Paul Rivera, a veteran Democratic strategist who was close to the chairman, to do the report, but Rivera had not worked on a presidential campaign in more than 2 decades. The report has an unusual disclaimer saying it reflects the views of the author and not the DNC, as I showed you guys, right? It's got that little, every page has a special little disclaimer on it. It's not supported by the DNC, but as the DNC chair, I'm going to put it out. A useless political party. It's really useless. So the New York Times, yeah, you don't get nothing. What is what's Ken Klippenstein saying? Let's see what Ken's saying. Okay, mentioned Nicholas Wu. Members of Congress can skip work for months, but the product looks exactly the same. What does that tell you? My report of the 2024 election by the DNC. Literally. That's amazing. Literally the report. There it is. There's the Democratic Party autopsy report. That's a retweet. Oh, boy. DNC is sharing private messaging guidance with state party chairs, urging them to reassert their confidence in his leadership. Do you have confidence to Kevin Martin's ability to serve as DNC chairman? Things are not good in the DNC, guys. Who's the leader? There is none. There is none. Which, again, not a bad thing. I don't feel like there should be a cult of personality around a politician. But, like, in this time period we're in, you need a leader. Yep. You're not going to be able to aura farm democracy or some shit. There you go. Here's a couple takes. It's hard to imagine anyone handling anything worse than Ken Martin handled the DNC autopsy. It was a disaster of his own making, and it's sufficient evidence that he is not the right person to lead the DNC at this time. I'm on Pod Save America, guys. Graham Plattner, the words Gaza and genocide. What? Oh, no genocide either? Let me check that myself. Genocide. Bang. Wow. What about this? How about this? I got it. How about war? War. 59 times. Oh, forward. Aware. Okay. Delaware. Towards. Okay. There's, towards. Delaware. Warnock. Close. Delaware. Upward. Delaware. Stewardship. No, you can fit the word war into so many different words, guys. Right word, awareness, towards, wary, forward, towards, forward. Oh, the first time we see the word war. It's on page 58. What is it for? What's the topic here? Countering misinformation and disinformation. American elections are now influenced by more than American interests. There's an obvious and conscious effort by foreign and domestic actors to shape electoral choices through misinformation and disinformation directed at American voters. This is not limited to the United States, as voters around the globe have been subjected to a barrage of extremist misinformation in recent elections. Recent news coverage about changes to the platform formerly known as Twitter has exposed how nearly half of right-wing pro-MAGA accounts... Well, how do you know how it was half? DNC shit. How do you know it was half? You got to back that up with a source. Meanwhile, MAGA is like, half the country voted for Trump. You're going to piss off half the country. They say that all the time. They in their brain, they're half the country, okay, and like they go with it. So when and you got a Democratic Party autopsy and you have it in there, you got to correct that. We are not half the country. We are actually not half. Okay, let's be accurate and back it up with a source. Throughout American history, extreme views have temporarily bubbled up to the shape public discourse, but normalcy eventually returned as more reasonable voices reasserted reason as a source of truth. Ugh. Misinformation and disinformation are effective when there's a lack of trust or confidence in leaders or platforms leading voters susceptible to whatever they see or hear. There are many organizations dedicated to correcting the record and supporting an affirmative argument. Blah, 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 blah. So many words to say nothing. Countering false information comes down to both making an affirmative case. Okay. What is misinformation? Nobody asked for that. The attacks on Democrats, including the elevation of incumbents and candidates when the Democratic Party's politics or positions are used to paint candidates running in competitive states and districts are out of touch, will not stop. Those Democrats must continue to make their case to find opponents and have effective rapid response operations in place. Rapid response for what? For what? What are you doing rapid response in the at the Capitol Hill? Oh no, the staffer is stuck in the bathroom. Oh no, their candidate's playing golf today. Can't show up to work. The DNC and other committees have developed staff and operations to manage rapid response efforts. Really? Usually through earned media efforts and coordinated messaging. These tactics will remain in place and need more support. The organization is doing this work over the past several cycles, have been subject to legal attack by the right and by partisan investigations. We can't do anything. We just Democrat. Their work is essential to the broader ecosystem and needs to be protected and continued. All is fair in love, war, and politics. And yes, Democrats have made investments in Republican primaries seeking to shape general election matchups. The difference is right-wing interests take a longer-term approach and amplify polarizing messaging and candidates within the Democratic family with the intention of othering all Democrats. Yes. Yes. That is 100% what the Republican Party does. Democratic Party. There's no evidence. We're going to need to back that up with a source. Brother, like, open your eyes. I don't know. That is how the right wing operates. They have they're going after, so they want Supreme Court justices. They're playing the long game. You have these old-timey racists that have been waiting decades, if not like their grandparents fought in the Civil War, and it's been passed down to them that the white nationalists will rise again and like you're going to take the country back, and they're still playing that game. They're playing the long game, the long ball. Democrats, they need to just play short game and can't ever. Like, it would be great the Democrats have a long-term goal. They don't. But like the short game, it sucks. And then the polarizing messaging is all the Republican Party does. All they do is polarizing propaganda all day long. And when you try to fight back polarizing propaganda, agitation propaganda nonsense with facts and logic, you're going to look woke and weak and blue-haired and soy because you got answers to simple problems or whatever, right? You know nuance. You know too many smart words. You know how to complete sentences. Meanwhile, we're just like the space lasers, the Jewish space lasers, and they're making the water is making the frogs gay. That's it. And then the right wing will cook, and that's it. And then you got this dog shit 200-page report in response to that. That's not even finished. And then, yes, because Democrats do actually hold themselves accountable when they are bad. They do, actually. Not when it comes to bombing kids in Middle East, but when it comes to like being frat behavior, they'll kick them out or like get them out. So it's just constant attacks. So that's exactly what happens. But of course, no, there's no evidence. What's the evidence of this? I don't know. As the DNC chairman, are you not paying attention to how the right wing operates? I know it's. I feel like you need like this. It's written in here, but I feel like you, by writing this, you truly don't know the right wing. Then, like, you should have people on your DNC staff that all they do is watch. I mean, just is what it is. You could watch right wing content and how the Republican Party operates. That way, you know how your political opponents operate actually, because this is true. And then the DNC chairman or whoever corrected that clearly has no idea. Okay, well, that's the word war was in that, but nothing like for Ukraine or Israel. Forward, 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 towards, awareness, aware, awareness, forward, software, warehouse, forward, 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 warehouse, warehouse, hardware, forward, warehouse, warehouses, warranted, warrant, forward, awarded, war, award, forward, 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 unaware, aware, forward, 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 Warren, Elizabeth Warren, forward, 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 aware, Delaware, towards, oh, we're back towards the beginning, my bad. I jumped, that was it. That was all 59 times the word war appeared in this document. But the word war itself only appears once. And that was in kind of like a monologue, it seemed. The word war is only in this once. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro talked to Ken Martin last week about the autopsy. At the same time, according to two sources with knowledge of the call, Shapiro relayed he was unhappy Martin hadn't released the autopsy. Martin was rattled after the call. DNC autopsy author Paul Rivera met with the pro-Palestinian group IMEU Policy Project in July of 2025 and told them the war in Gaza hurt Democrats in the 2024 election, according to two people familiar with the meeting, but the final report makes no mention of Israel or Gaza. And then also, Paul Rivera did not respond to a request. Some Democrats argue that Rivera appeared to tell different interest groups what they wanted to hear or avoided the most sensitive topics in the conclusions. Rivera met with the pro-Palestinian group IMEU Policy Project in July 2025 and told them the war in Gaza hurt Democrats in the 2024 election, according to two people familiar with the meeting. But the final report makes no mention of Israel or Gaza. Rivera didn't respond to a request for comment. IMEU Policy Project Executive Director Margaret DeRue said in the statement, Ken Martin should release the information that the author of the autopsy told us clearly and unambiguously, which is that DNC officials' review of their own data found Biden's support for Israel to be a net negative for Democrats in 2024. Yeah. I don't know why that's up for debate. It's like, I think it's cope from people that don't want to admit that that's true. And they're like, no, it's just because the far left was annoying. And then that's why Trump won. No. In a staff call today, Martin told DNC officials that Rivera was no longer working with the DNC. What a shit show. AOC seems like she was... I'm always down for more AOC interview. So she was asked about it again in a proper press conference.
Make any big have you seen Israel and Gaza aren't mentioned once in the report, the uncommitted movement. What do you make of that?
I think it's pretty unbelievable that that Gaza would not be mentioned once in the autopsy report. I think it was very clearly a major dynamic and a major thread that was happening in 2024. Regardless of how one feels about that issue, the fact that it's not even addressed, I think is a major oversight. And I think that for young people, it was a huge part of the environment. I can tell you for myself as a candidate during that cycle, there's no way that it was an ignorable issue or totally immaterial. So I think that, you know, it's a real disservice to not speak to that or include or assess that.
So what do you make of just
make any big statements?
It's embarrassing. The whole thing is embarrassing. Third way, John Cohen on the DNC autopsy. The autopsy draft released today validates the case we've been making post 2024 and are making again today as we gather over 150 Nevada Democrats to chart the party's future. Democrats must be able to win the middle anytime, anywhere, and they can do that only with a combative centrism that rejects identity politics, reclaims the vital center, and positions the party as fighters on the economic issues that matters most to voters. How is that possible being a centrist? How can you fight for economic issues as a centrist? How is that even possible? As the New York Times poll shows, even a majority of Democrats want the party to move center and not left. And this report echoes that sentiment. For Democrats who want to win, this report should be case closed. Isn't this like a big Democratic echelon, this third way thing? I don't even know what that means. What the hell is a third way Democrat? What the fuck is even that? Explanation. The third way is a predominantly centrist political position that attempts to reconcile center-right and center-left politics by synthesizing a combination of economically liberal and social democratic economic policies. Wow. Mid. This is the third way, to be mid. The midway. The midway. That's what we're going to call it from now on. No more third way. From here on out, it is the midway. Ooh. And then, wow, what a way to, yeah, this report shows us everything we need to know without even having an intro, without having a leadership message. It says title page on there. Build to win, build to last. No conclusion. Wow. Winning the middle. No. Especially when the right wing doesn't do that. All you're doing then is like moving the center more right. Because when you're like the right wing and MAGA are taking the country far right as fuck, farther than we've ever like been in a long time. It's been worse than this actually. Like, in this country. We're going there. But you know, if you return to a center, the center moves. It moves along with the way the right wing is moving. So when you're like, let's return to the middle, it's like return to like the acceptable center right-ish right wing spot that you're landing in. And then nothing actually changes. Bunch of corpo mid bullshit here. Wow. Bill Clinton and Tony Blair. Incredible. Yeah, that's what this country needs. Democrats have to contend. Contend how? There's no power. The far left, the far actual. You know what I heard the first time this weekend too is the left actually begins when capitalism ends. If you ain't ready, like this is what I heard, and I have to look. I got to do some more homework. But the left starts when capitalism is like done. And if you are somebody, and this is what I heard, where you aren't an actual leftist unless you are about abolishing capitalism and like starting there, and like that's the starting point. So like until that point, it's like you kind of got a bunch of people that are gonna like probably continue the status quo, or like want that. But like there certainly is zero power from like anti-capitalist left. It doesn't exist. It does not exist whatsoever. And then if anything, talk about killing a party, the right wing, the extremists within the right wing only continue to win, and they are the driving factor of the right wing party. That's why we need a middle. The middle is already the Democratic Party as it is. We don't need to create another middle. We already have a middle. It's the Democratic Party. They're not left at all. Like they have some social issues they'll care about now and then. But when it comes to actual like working class addressing or ending funding of forever wars in the Middle East or healthcare in this country, they don't do it. Holding Trump accountable, didn't do it. So you can say we need a middle. We have one. We don't have an actual left in this country. You have right, far right, and centrist Dems, and that's it. We need a new middle. Then what? The new mid? No, we don't. No, we don't need to add more mid. I disagree with that completely. I'm not a centrist, guys. If you think of me as a centrist because like you hear me both like, no, I'm really not at this point. I think it's embarrassing to be a centrist in this time period. I think that I feel like at least, when it comes to like people that are like MAGA, they're standing on something. It's wrong. It's fascist, and it's we got to defeat it politically, but they're standing on something. And being in the middle is like just like why? For what? Especially when the right wing is never middle. Never middle. Unless it's like affects gas prices or now these AI data centers, which then, yeah, for sure, I will talk to everyone no matter what. But like when it comes to the climate of the United States, only when pocketbooks are affected. And then it's just like we're temporarily aligned because the money situation. But then as soon as the money situation has a stimulus or temporary relief somehow, or I don't know, like the J6ers are we'll get into that next. They're getting like nearly 1.8 billion in reparations. Ironically, we don't have reparations for Jim Crow though, or for slavery, but we got it for J6ers. We can't return to a mid or like create a new mid. Why would we already have we already have one. We don't have anything left of it to like pull the country back in a proper direction. Because the Democratic Party is not a pull into the opposite direction party. It's like, yeah, pause and slow down Trump and all the MAGA shit that we've been going through here. Yeah, definitely. But it like really will be like, hey, let's give ICE body cams. That'll do it. Hey, let's you know what, ICE, let's no masks. No more masks. But ICE is not abolished. ICE still exists. Nobody's held accountable, right? We're future speaking, but this is just what we've seen in the past, or like even now, or like as we just seen the autopsy come out from the DNC and their failure in 2024. Because at the end of the day, it isn't our fault. And if you are attaching yourself to the Democratic Party, that's a you problem. Okay, don't do that. Unless you are literally like this guy, or you are part of the DNC somehow. But if you're just like a regular voter, like that wasn't your fault. It's not like you were like strategizing for the DNC and did all that fuck shit and lost. Okay, as the voter, you are supposed to see why that went wrong, and the party itself is like, we don't care. So I don't know, like don't be like a MAGA about it and like attach yourself to the Democratic Party as if like this is all I have and I have to uphold it forever and ever. It's like, no, you don't. You don't. Especially since I think this party as it stands is not going to last long. I don't think this party is going to last long. The MAGA Republican Party died. It's MAGA. Like, it's a Republican in name only. Probably going to happen in the Democratic Party too, but we absolutely do not have room for a new middle or a new center. That's so silly, especially when we already have a center, and it's the Democratic Party. We don't have a proper left. Here's Ro Khanna just 48 minutes ago on the autopsy report.
There is not a single mention of Gaza in the 192-page DNC autopsy report that was just released today. As someone who campaigned in Michigan and Wisconsin, let me tell you, one of the reasons we lost is our blank check to Israel and Netanyahu while they committed genocide in Gaza. We must speak and confront hard truths if this party is to win in 2028. There is not a single mention.
Identity politics is ineffective. No, it's not. You see MAGA doing it every day. MAGA is identity politics now. The DNC hasn't done identity politics since Obama. But Biden certainly did not. There was nothing, like, their campaign was not focused on identity politics. Were we watching the same campaign in 2024? They were doing right-wing buy my guns and shit. Look at Kamala's Glock. Look at her camo. Like, I wear camo too. They were not doing, so when you're like, we can't do identity politics anymore, when the Democrats stop doing that, they're like, it'll be an issue. There will be maybe activist groups that have their issue, right? And then Democrats will go and speak at it. Here you go.
I'm a gun owner. Tim Walz is a gun. I did not know that.
We got guns.
If somebody breaks in my house, they're getting shot.
They're getting shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hear that. I hear that.
Yeah, you run up in my house, you get shot.
Probably should not have said that. But my staff will deal with that later. Yeah.
Okay, Tim Walz in the hunting stuff. Tim Walz hunting. Is hunt? Yeah, good day for pheasant hunting. Hell yeah. Oh, guns.
Nice shot. Oh, you got that. That was a good shot.
Identity politics, though, for sure.
We'll get another one. They are shaking like crazy, Scott.
And this was the campaign, and then Sexy Red and Fat Joe and I'm speaking, and that was it. There was no like LGBTQ focus or like trans people focus. Do you know who does that? The right wing does it. And then it forces Democrats to respond to it because the base will go, why? Like, they're fucking attacking us all day. Like, they're shitting on trans people all day long. Can you please say something? Democrats will say something. And then mids will go, why are we talking about identity politics? Because the right wing is fucking shitting on everyone all day long. Or like genociding them in their own way, or jailing people, or brutalizing people because they're like in their brain different than a Christian white nationalist. And so like that's why. It's really I've never seen a driving force of like identity politics from the Democratic Party, and like we are really gonna this is our issue and we're gonna go hard for this marginalized group, or like my identity. It'll be activist groups, it'll be social media users, and it'll be the Republican Party and conservatives that will draw bigotry towards that group and like propagandize it forever and ever until finally a Democratic politician will come out and stand against it and be like, no, that's wrong. I stand with trans people. And then, the Democrats and their trans identity politics. That's how it goes. Because the Democrats do not talk about any of those problems or any of those actual issues at all, unless they're like forced. My guns. I drive a manual.
Hey everybody, Governor Walz here. My 79 International Harvester Scout and my 5-year-old.
My guns, my truck. My
Black
fish,
Lab
my dog.
Scout. Everything.
Identity politics, though, right?
Works on here.
Kind of is, in a sense. because like what identity are they trying to reach here? Which is what the Republican Party does. The Republican Party pretends like they don't run off identity politics. My guns, my truck, my fish. Erica Kirk. Be a Christian. The traditional family. That's all identity shit. That's all they talk about all day long. So I'm on a different plane than some people watching, and that's fine.
Except one thing I'm still tinkering with, cruise control. So I'm going to show you how to fix that. At the same time, we talk about creating an opportunity economy so that everybody can get the opportunity to thrive. So
yeah, you can drive a truck. And I didn't have any problem. I didn't have an issue with the messaging and like what he's saying. It's like obviously they're going towards a more like my gun, my truck, my fish, right wing shit, and this was their the campaign, not like blue hair, LGBTQ, trans rights, the trans flag everywhere, and like all the shit their right wing lies about what the left does, about what liberals, especially what liberals do, what the Democratic Party does. They don't do any of that. Golly, I swear I'm like looking at different shit apparently than you guys, or some of you guys. I would deposit the hauling of the release of the autopsy says more about the Democrat failures of strategy and messaging than anything you'll read in the actual autopsy. I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand. I agree with that, Sarah, but I feel like it goes hand in hand. It's like it's kind of like the irony, right? Kind of like it's a half-assed report, pages missing, kind of like how the Democratic Party like how they operate. We're sorry, we couldn't. Republicans, we couldn't do it. I'm just tired. I'm tired of mid at this point, and it's too much mid. Someone's still a little salty. Who is this person? God. Yeah, I agree with David Hogg, though. Yeah, I agree. You can't have weak leadership like that. You cannot have weak leadership if that's what you expect. All right, I feel like I've said. It seems like everyone else is saying what we're saying, or I'm saying, I guess. I'm glad Ken released his statement in the flawed 2024 autopsy. If he'd done this in the first place and not lied about why it had been released, things might be different. No. Nope. As the DNC leader, your whole position is to make sure stuff like this is happening. Figuring out why the party is either doing good or why the party is doing bad. But I don't know. That's why it's all privatized. You guys know the Republican Party and the Democratic Party are both they're private, right? They're both private companies. They're not like public entities that are looking out for our well-being. They're both private companies, both private corporations, both the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. Okay. Well, I don't see anything else on the autopsy, and we kind of read it. Leon Panetta, he's right. It is incomplete. Dang. Oh, actually, let's hear what Mockler has to say about it. You guys like Adam Mockler? I like Adam Mockler.
All right, wow. The 2024 election autopsy contracted by the DNC has finally been released after months and months, maybe even over a year of tumult, over a year of the Democratic National Committee refusing to release the after-action report that tells us what went wrong and what to do next, in their eyes at least. And the reality is, they were right about one thing. It is a sloppy unfinished mess. This entire thing is full of red lines saying no evidence provided for many claims, saying this contradicts claims elsewhere in the report. It's full of red lines saying no evidence provided for this claim, just trying to completely fact check everything throughout it because there are a lot of unsupported claims. Now, of course, not every single thing in this is absolutely wrong. I mean, there's a part about the male voter problem, but I can give you a better analysis as a young male voter who talks to male voters than whatever this sloppy report is. So
you can as a viewer right now, because if you've been watching my stream at all for like the past, well, it's till 2024. So yeah, 2 years, maybe not even all the way back to 2020. You know, this is, you have to know this is slop. You have to know. We watched all of it. I made you watch hours of campaign stuff from both sides, from Trump fucking passing out and everyone falling asleep behind him to Kamala's concerts. We watched all of it, and all of this was happening at the same time, and it was obvious like things were not going well. It was like, oh.
So understandably, people are incredibly pissed. Jon Favreau of Pod Save America gives his rundown of the series of events. And this isn't like a partisan attack coming from the right. This is an Obama strategist who now does commentary and does strategy for the party. And we're all just trying to do this in the name of making the Democratic Party stronger because we want to win. I'm oftentimes focusing on Republicans and how we can beat them. But at this moment, I think it's appropriate to talk about the Democratic Party, a forward-looking vision.
And if you can't do that, then I don't know, you're man. I already know some people, long-time viewers, aren't here anymore. But Democratic Party. I'm sorry. I'm glad I had you. Well, I had you, but I'm criticizing all of the power. Okay, all of it. If there's power, I'm criticizing that. And Democrats are power too. Especially since, yeah, I do see some candidates that are in the Democratic Party that are good, that are solid, and they do actually care about the American people. And that's the only party that does exist in, right? And then it's only certain Democrats, and that's it. There's 0 Republicans, and then the establishment of both parties is bad. But there are like some onesie and twosie Democrats that are solid. Okay, but it's like not the culture of the party. It's not like that's not like those individuals are individuals. It's not like this is the culture of the Democratic National, the DNC.
What we should stand for in my eyes, and overall some media strategy. I'm not as qualified to talk about the door knocking on the ground canvassing strategy, but I do know a lot about social media and making sure that we're pushing a message. So
it can't be that much different though. And if anything, I bet you the door knocking and talking to people in person is way easier because social media sucks. It does. But I that's what I know too. I know all we do all day is post news and read comments and how people react to it all. Like that's all we do all day long at Mercado Media. We know like the vibe, I guess. We're in the know. Okay, we're plugged in. We're tuned in. And yeah, that's why. But I bet you knocking on doors and actually talking to people is probably easier. Doing groundwork.
Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you subscribe. Let's dig into all this. And then we'll put it side by side with what Donald Trump said when he was just asked about the autopsy a moment ago.
Why you won and Democrats lost. One thing that it mentions is how they failed to reach Middle America, Southern Americans. Do you think they've learned lessons from that election? And
okay, before we hear from Donald Trump and the right-wing attacks, let's just talk amongst our party for a second and see what we can actually work on, what we can actually fix. So Jon Favreau says, 1, promise to release the autopsy. Listen, I have respect for Ken Martin, but Ken Martin did say he was going to release the autopsy no matter what after we lost. And then he held it for so long. Now we know it's because it was just shit. It was dog shit. It doesn't even mention most of the important issues. It doesn't mention inflation. It barely mentions the economy. It does not mention Gaza. It does not mention Palestine even once.
No Ukraine either. No, none. Nothing.
Not that that's the biggest reason we lost. I don't think that's the biggest reason we lost, but you'd think they would at least mention Gaza and Israel and the West Bank. But no mention of it. So step 1, promise to release the autopsy.
If it wasn't then, it will be now. Let's just put it that way. If you want to say that, if it wasn't then, it damn sure will be a reason you lose now. All day long. But I do feel it was more of a factor than a lot of people are admitting back in 2024.
Autopsy. Step 2, put incompetent friend in charge. Apparently the guy they contracted was just a friend of, the DNC, Ken Martin. They completely blew it. The guy made a sloppy report. Number 3, incompetent friend produces incoherent product. Step 4, announce you're not releasing the autopsy. Step 5, lie about why you're not releasing the autopsy. Step 6, gaslight the people who ask, saying that they're the problem, that we just need to move on and focus on what we need to do next, which the report's supposed to sort of outline. Number 7, face internal revolt at the DNC. Step 8, release autopsy. And here we are. We're at the point where, as Hunter says, in addition to many factual errors, the DNC report does not discuss inflation, which it probably should. I mean, that's probably part of the reason people felt dissatisfied. It does not mention...
And that would have been an opportunity to provide the honesty of the inflation rate, and that Biden did bring the inflation down, and it's never talked about. Like, they didn't highlight that at all. It just, like, we just got to run with the right-wing lies about inflation, I guess.
In Palestine or Gaza, as it says down here. It does not mention perceptions of Biden's age. It doesn't mention immigration. I went to about 50 different Trump rallies during...
I went to the border while Biden was president because I was tired of hearing right-wing lies the whole time. So I like, yeah, is there border in there? Border's in there 2 times. 20 in the context of the 21st century, media is now borderless. Okay. And Democrats won the election, and Biden assigned the vice president a brief including immigration, which was poorly framed by Republicans as a border czar. We see when Kamala was border czar, it was bad, but then they could have their own border czar now, and it's Tom Homan. But border czar then was bad.
During the 2024 election and during the primaries. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I've been to many, many Trump rallies. And when I would talk to voters there, some who were on the fence, some who didn't know who they were going to vote for, they were just listening. What they would say is the economy is really hard for them. They would say that they want to close the border and they think it's open. And then the more radical social people who were actually fully bought in would then start citing trans issues and replacements. So there was a mix of people who were genuinely just radicalized and genuinely deep into this racist worldview. But then many people were also just struggling due to the economy. So it's multifaceted. I don't want to reduce it down to any one thing. We lost for a few reasons. How Biden dropping out impacted Harris wasn't even talked about. I mean, that's a big thing. Biden dropping out after they claimed that there was no reason for him to drop out, broke trust within the Democratic Party. Elderly voters and how they voted. Trans people, it doesn't talk about in any capacity. Palestine, it doesn't talk about in any capacity. I mean, just none of these issues are talked about in any meaningful way, or how...
It's just consultant numbers and bullshit and like story time. None of the actual like meat and potatoes of the problems. None of it.
We mount a defense for certain social groups. The reality is, as it pertains to trans people, as the circle of acceptance has gotten bigger and bigger in liberal societies, conservatives have had to start attacking new and new groups. I mean, just think about it. For a while, when slavery was still allowed, conservatives would defend it. And then we banned it, and they jumped on to attacking different groups. Eventually, gay people, they started to attack. And then when society kind of moved on, they're now jumping to the next ring in the circle of acceptance, and they're attacking trans people. So conservatives constantly move on to the next attack.
Yeah, it's just because they need it. They need to. They need a different target. It needs to be blood sports at all times because that's what the establishment of the Republican Party is. It's culture war and then constant enemies everywhere. And then Israel. And that's it.
And they're kind of conceding that the last generation of conservatives were wrong. The last generation of conservatives were wrong to attack this group and this group and this group. And now trans people are the newest attack. So we need to mount a serious defense. We need to be talking about how we can hold the line and stand firm in our values. Something that we also need to be talking about is how to build an affirmative vision as Democrats. The report kind of goes into this. Let me pull this up. The report kind of goes into building an affirmative message, but it's just not satisfying or coherent in the way the report talks about it. I mean, over here at Mackler Media, Micah and I have been working on a much more fleshed out framework for how we can restore our democracy that we're going to be releasing soon beyond.
That's exciting. I'm filming the end of it. That's how I feel. It isn't. I feel like I'm filming the end of America. That's every time. I mean, I talk about it with other independent journalists, and I'm glad that the influencers have hope. It's good to see. I feel like I'm out there filming the end of it. Is what it is. Kind on the DNC autopsy. Did you notice it doesn't mention Gaza? So here's more real kind on the autopsy.
Notice that it doesn't mention the word Gaza? I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that Gaza was one of the big issues in the 2024 election. So first I skimmed it, the 192 pages, I didn't see Gaza. Then I put it into ChatGPT. I said, did I miss something? Is Gaza mentioned? No, Gaza. You know, this party needs to start telling hard truths. One of those truths is that Israel committed a genocide, that Israel is an apartheid state, that we should not have given a single dollar to Israel to commit that genocide. I was one of 37 Democrats who voted against it, and that was an issue in 2024. It will be an issue in 2026. It will be an issue in 2028. So we need another report about the impact of Gaza on 2024 and on the Democratic Party.
And you saw that in Michigan, that you guys lost.
I saw it in Michigan. I saw it in Wisconsin. I saw it in parts of Pennsylvania. I mean, this is a moral issue. It's a moral test. And the bigger moral test is speaking the truth to the American people and to voters. And to say that Gaza wasn't an issue, I mean, obviously that's just not taking on a hard truth. So we need an autopsy on the issue of Gaza. And we need to be very clear as a Democratic Party, not another dollar to Israel. We need to be clear that it was a genocide. We need to be clear that apartheid is happening with Israel having control over the West Bank and over Gaza. And we need to speak not in long, convoluted sentences, but with direct moral clarity on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was recently, just 46 minutes ago, Rokana. What else we got from Easton about it? We'll get to January 6th stuff, because that's coming up too. How is it possible that... Okay, that's his perspective. We kind of watched that already. Republicans are too scared to check executive power. Today they pulled the war powers resolution rather than vote on it. They knew they'd lose, so instead of ending Trump's illegal war in Iran, they killed the vote. Too weak to follow the Constitution, too loyal to Trump to do their jobs. Well, it had advanced, so it looks like it's not going to happen in the Congress.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Massachusetts seek recognition?
They're just not going to have the
Speaker,
vote.
Can you explain to the members of the chamber what is happening with the Iran War Powers resolution that was scheduled to be voted on this evening?
Does the gentleman have a parliamentary question?
That is my parliamentary inquiry. I just want to know what has happened with.
I want you to question what is left of our Constitution, and like especially as we speak, when you got aspects of it being literally terminated. And the aspects of it are like the ones that the amendments that we needed to add to it because it was originally a white supremacist document. That's why we needed to add so many amendments to it. And when you strip it down to its bare bones, you're going to have the fascists using that document for ultra bad because it's going to be stripped away of all of the shit that we had to add to it for equal rights. And it's still not even good. So I want to ask yourself, you should ask yourself this. What is left of the Constitution, especially after this administration?
With the Iran War Powers resolution.
The gentleman may consult with your leadership regarding scheduling.
Mr. Speaker, further parliamentary inquiry. Are we not voting on it because the American people are sick and tired of this illegal war that is costing tens of billions of dollars? Gas prices are through the roof. People can't afford their groceries. Is that why you're pulling it? You guys don't have the guts of the book.
The House will be in order. This House will be in order. The chair is prepared to move on to the next question.
Gonna move on. Well, it's the Republican Party's a cult. What do you think of Congress leaving early? I think it's stupid. We should have worked.
We should have stayed here and worked.
I'm disappointed in the Senate, but I'm always disappointed in the Senate, and I just think it's a waste of taxpayers' money. We've wasted a whole dadgum week, and I think it's kind of pathetic.
Pathetic. Oh, here's a good one. I want to get into the 1776 slush fund stuff, so let me save that. Let's go back to what I was doing quick. So we'll get to that in a second. Obviously, we'll get to that. It's another issue with the J6er reparation thing, which is insane. What a disgrace. What is this? Since Trump, I guess we could talk about it now. Since Trump admin announced the creation of a $1.7 billion. So if you don't know, if you're like, what is that? Trump is going to be giving 1.7 billion to J6ers. His new anti-weaponization fund. Trump's administration has created a nearly $1.8 billion fund to pay people who say they were victims of government weaponization, raising questions about whom among his allies and supporters, including those who rioted at the Capitol on January 6th, might get payouts from taxpayers. Literally paid rioters. Your taxpayer money. That's why I don't like when it comes down to the federal government fucking with my state and fraud, you know? I like that. That sucks, but I don't care. At the end of the day, like this is supersedes federal government double dipping on fraudsters in Minnesota that have already committed fraud and have already have state charges, and then you want to hit them with federal charges. Okay, you're literally about to be paying nearly $2 billion to domestic terrorists, or like they want to. The Justice Department's 1776 billion anti-weaponization fund, a nod to the country's founding year, is part of a settlement with Trump to end a lawsuit against the IRS over the leaking of his tax returns, which occurred during his own presidency. The Trump administration has compared it to a settlement dating back to former President Barack Obama's administration, claiming the U.S. government has done this in the past. This was done during the Obama administration, something almost identical in its structure. Said Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche before a Senate Appropriations Subcommittee on Tuesday, it is true that this is unusual. That is true, but it is not unprecedented. Legal experts disagree. I don't even think we have a word for how unprecedented this is, said Adam Zimmerman, who's a professor at USC, Gold School of Law, who has written about past presidential settlements. This is in a totally different solar system than any past government settlement on record. Trump has long sought to portray Biden-era criminal investigations into his efforts to overturn the 2020 election as a politically motivated witch hunt, and has called the violent insurrection of January 6th a day of love. Isn't that ironic? They lie about the BLM protests and say that was the summer of love, and like because they're trying to be cute. But literally, their own president and cult leader calls January 6th a day of love. Nobody on BLM protester called that the summer of love. That was from the right wing being cute on Fox News. President himself, though, that was a day of love. Two police officers who defended the Capitol during the insurrection sued the federal government on Wednesday to block the fund, calling it illegal and a sham. Wicked. You got a SpaceX flight launch. Wow, look at these. What in the hell? Trump, let's just do slush fund. This was created by Obama. What is her argument that Obama made it? Let's watch this first, and then we'll try to find Obama's argument, I guess.
What do you make of this $1.7 billion fund for...
Bad news. We're going to try to kill it.
Nice.
Are we looking at a GOP revolt brewing over Trump's anti-weaponization fund?
I will tell you my first reaction was this doesn't pass the smell test.
It sends a signal, hey, go breach the Capitol, destroy the building, assault police officers, and you may even get compensated for someday. That's absurd.
Every policy issue that I look at it through the lens of what impact is this going to have on affordability.
And you think this weaponization fund is a waste of taxpayer dollars?
I think that would be putting it mildly.
Do you want to stop it?
Oh, 100%.
I think if you said to the American taxpayer that there is a horrible wrong committed by your government, and now you can apply and you can have your lawyer's fees back, you can be compensated for what you lost financially, what American would say, oh my gosh, that's terrible?
The ones that aren't domestic terrorists, because every January 6er is a domestic terrorist and should be locked away for going and raiding the Capitol because Donald Trump cried that he lost the election. Every single person should be in a fucking hole still in one of the most secret fucking facilities. I know people that are going to be anti-jail. They'll be like, no, but like, I don't know. These are traitors. I mean, domestic terrorists. Oh, what do you do? Work camp?
Tonight is Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania.
Send them out and have them fix the roads or something. No incarceration. Have them go out and pick weeds.
Yeah, a Republican who has been outspoken about opposing this new fund.
Forever.
Congressman, do you agree with the acting attorney general there that this is how Americans want their taxpayer dollars to be spent?
I do not, Caitlin. Every dime that we spend ought to be going to, and especially with people in mind, over half of Americans that are living paycheck to paycheck. That's got to be at the forefront of every single House and Senate member's mind with every dime that we appropriate. So for that and many other reasons, I am completely objecting to this, and I'm going to do everything I can to fight it.
Did anything that Todd Blanche said about this fund in that interview with Paula reassure you?
No. So first and foremost, Caitlin, the executive branch does not have any money in its own right. Every dime they have is appropriated by Congress. So I sent a letter to Mr. Blanche today, posing some very basic questions. He's got a June 1st deadline to get me the answers of where this money is coming from. Obviously, it was appropriated to DOJ as part of an appropriations bill.
Trump's crypto money, private money, so that way he can build his private army.
We want to know what account that money currently resides in. Where is he pulling it from? What authority they have to do this? We'll give them a chance to answer. But this is a debate that needs to be had and will be had, Caitlin, on the floor of the House, and it will be voted on. This is not a unilateral executive decision. If you're dealing with appropriated money, that's got to come through us.
What happens if the deputy or if the acting attorney general doesn't respond to your letter?
Hold him in contempt.
Well, there's going to be consequences. We need to unpack. The reason why we asked him questions is we need to unpack what the genesis of this funding is so that we know how to go about resolving this, right? I mean, depending on what that answer is going to depend on what we can do, because we're trying to figure out what our jurisdictional ability is under Article 1 authority and where Article 1 authority ends and Article 2 authority begins. But we need the answers to some basic questions, which is kind of the point of the problem here, is that we don't even know the answers to those questions. So we're going to get them, and if we don't, we'll deal with it either in this year's appropriations or in remedial legislation, which my team is working on right now.
Well, looks like Republicans will fight back on that. It seems like they will. Really recovering SpaceX. Are you guys missing the Starship launch? Do we need to? You guys want to see you want to see Elon's rocket? Elon rocket. My Elon rocket.
I need to go to the moon. That's definitely in my mind. It sounds like a hell of a week-long vacation or one heck of a trip. But and I mean, this is like,
there's the moon base, guys. That's what the moon base is gonna look like. Zombies up there, and go play moon zombies in real life. And all the AI data centers. Just be an AI data center planet moon. You just look up and see the centers from here. You can look up at the moon AI data centers from your data center town. Look up into the skies, little Johnny. He looks up and he sees more AI data centers. Can't get away from it. Yeah, I don't care. I like the NASA stuff with Artemis, and I know eventually SpaceX's rocket booster is gonna have to go on. Like they'll have to. Then I'll watch when the crossover happens officially, and they're getting ready for Artemis 3, because that's really what these SpaceX that's what this shit's doing. Got to get Elon's rockets ready because they're gonna go back to the moon and go further and build on it. Like, it's not just a little mission. They're gonna build that. That's a real thing. They're gonna build that. It's gonna be a moon base. We are gonna have a moon base. That's the whole point of the Artemis missions right now. Well, they're gonna go further, but right now it's to get they had to get data on that, and then they're gonna ready to go build. I don't know what the exact scope of Artemis 3 mission. Are they actually landing with Artemis 3? No. Artemis 3 mission will launch the crew in the Orion spacecraft on top of the SLS rocket to test rendezvous and docking capability. Okay, no. So it's it's another step. But it'll still be a big deal. It'll be all just it's like a preparatory mission for the people landing on there to get the base started. What's are they having people train construction work or whatever in zero gravity? Probably just engineers and will be sent up there that work on the space stations and stuff. Maybe, I don't know. Imagine your work day is on the moon, building the moon base. There you go. Maybe figure out the Space Force Union. Go join the Space Force Union if you're a laborer and go get paid big money to go go to the moon. Oh boy, the return flight though. Oh boy, you guys watched the Artemis 2 mission. You saw how that went out. So have fun on re-entry, but hey, listen, you can go up there and cook. It's like the new, when people go to, Alaska, or, they go work, seasonal work where they make a lot of money and then they come back when the season changes. Go do that on the moon. Get paid stupid money. What else? Really? Pat Ryan blasts Republicans for pulling the War Powers vote, calling them chicken hawk motherfuckers.
Dodge on the War Powers Act.
These chicken hawk motherfuckers
Damn.
are going to send us home for Memorial Day weekend, where I'm going to honor my fellow veterans that I served 27 months in combat with, and they are going to not even give an up or down vote on continuing this war almost 3 months in, while Americans are paying almost $5 a gallon at the pump. It is fucking pathetic. They use this procedural bullshit argument, and every American should just be absolutely outraged about this. It's a disgrace. It is a disgrace.
Dodge on the War Powers.
That's why we just got back from DC, trying to advocate for him to fight. Wow. Nick Shirley with Howard Lutnick. Mr. Epstein's. Oh. My community note. No. I'm about to say, come on. Howard Lutnick perpetuated fraud on citizens by openly lying about his relationship to Epstein. My God. They don't care. It doesn't matter. Truth and reality does not matter anymore, really. It just really doesn't. I'm so excited. I'm gonna go fight the fraudsters. Stop making me agree with you, JP Series. You suck. Literally, I could walk to Epstein's house from my backyard or whatever. He's like 5 steps away from my back steps or whatever he said. Jake Lang is in custody, according to Anarchy Princess. This came in 17 minutes ago. Well, actually, according to jail record, it looks like. Montgomery County Sheriff's Office. Edward Jacob Lang. He's in there. In custody. I'm older than him by a year. All right. Well, I got a couple more, I think. No, I don't. New James Bond's coming out. Comes out, and next week we'll be playing it.
009 is a master manipulator.
To catch him, we're going to need eyes everywhere.
I'm excited. I'm excited. For tonight, though, I'm not going to be watching the Artemis launch. So you guys can go do that and if you want. A lot of people looks like they're going to be tuned into it. But for everybody else, I'm going to be on my gaming channel. Like I just showed, we're playing James Bond next week when that comes out. We got Batman. Well, Lego Batman. Legacy of the Dark Knight. All right. Come and check it out. Gaming channel. This game looks sick. All right. A lot of you already been seeing many Lego videos lately. So, yeah, it kind of fits. So you guys should come over and check out Lego Batman. All right. Come on, check it out, guys. Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. I'm streaming it. All right. I'll be playing this weekend. Also, other games I play. You can add me on Xbox or Steam, but Xbox because there's an Xbox, a Forza. So I'm going to be playing this game, Forza 6, and Subnautica 2 this weekend. And probably some trucking sim. A little bit of trucking sim. A lot of Forza. Hopefully a lot of Subnautica because that game is sick. This game is the game, but I don't want to play this without Tevo and Liss. And others, but Subnautica 2 is great. You should definitely get that game. But we're starting to, it's new game time. I told my gaming audience there's new games coming out. You got Batman, and then you got James Bond. It's that time of season. They're coming out now. James Bond, you got Hell Let Loose, Vietnam, Assassin's Creed. I mean, playing the Halloween game, Ace Combat sometime. It's a Air Force type of game. New Silent Hill game. That looks sick. That's coming out sometime. I don't know when. All these games. There's plus other games I've missed already, it looks like. New Fable. I'm excited for that. Oh, really quick. Did you guys see this announcement? From Warhorse Studios that made Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which is one of my games of the year last year. Had to have been like one of the best RPGs I played ever. Good news. They're making another one. And also an open world Middle Earth RPG. Lord of the Rings from Warhorse. So if you watched Kingdom Come last year and you watched that stream and you really like that, imagine that, but in Lord of the Rings. Yep. That's going to be sick. That's going to be dope. Probably the best Lord of the Rings video game ever, potentially. So, excited about that. So, new Kingdom Come game, but also Middle Earth, Lord of the Rings. That's sick. So, really excited about that. Yep. They're really good at making open world RPGs. I'll say that. Because if you like open world RPGs, and if you haven't played Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 yet, I want to play the first one because I haven't played the first one. But it's so good. Like the best open world first person RPG. Like Cyberpunk competes with it. I'd say like this game and Cyberpunk, but like this game is like even more in depth. Or like you got Baldur's Gate 3, but that game is a different type of game. That game has depth. This is like, like a Skyrim. It's like new Skyrim, basically. Because Bethesda sucks at this now. They don't know what they're doing anymore. So you got Warhorse Studios now And I'm really excited about that because I love Lord of the Rings. I love that universe, so that'll be really cool to play in their engine and like their RPG type of game, but for Lord of the Rings. All right, if you guys like all that stuff, you like gaming and you want to just hang out and take a break from doom scrolling everything, come check us out. Mercado Gaming on YouTube. I'll put the link in the chat. It's already scheduled, so you can come tune in. It'll be in about an hour and a half from now. I'm going to go eat dinner and just kind of like unwind for like a little bit and then tap into gaming at about 8 o'clock. And this will be our normal schedule, guys. I think I'm back on the news. I don't think I need any more like, full days away. We'll talk about at least something that's going. There's a lot going on, so it's not like, what am I going to cover today? For a lot of things happening. So spread the word. Obviously, we had maybe 300 people tuned in today. It's a drop off going from thousands to a few hundred, but I do significantly appreciate everybody that tunes in. It'll be more consistent, so just make sure you got the notification bell on. Join the Discord server. Link is in the description. Be a part of that. It'll notify you every day, but I'm going to try to be like, back to the daily schedule. And I'm back. I'm locked in again. I feel better. Went to DC, did some good advocacy work, which you guys should go check out on the Instagram if you guys aren't following on Instagram yet. We're almost at 44. We just passed 46K. Tony, we're going to get to 100K by the end of the year on Instagram. Definitely come check us out. But like a lot of the content, like all the interviews I did, more relaxed about. You guys might like USMC Angry Veteran Matt. He's super cool, really cool dude. IRL, same guy. He's just really chill, really awesome. Took a bunch of pictures of us here with Jolly and Greg Stoker. Okay, and this is what the White House looks like now, with Lafayette Square all dug up and fenced up. And gas prices in DC are insane. And then I also did some interviews with some Congress members. Yeah, this is Representative DeLuzio. To talk with him.
Absolutely. Why is this issue important for you to come out?
All right, so go find out what I say, what he says. I talked to Representative Ted Lieu.
I'm an independent journalist, so it's amazing that you come out to talk to us.
So go watch that if you want to. Yeah. So if you want to check out what I did in DC, and I'm back now, obviously, but it's all there on Mercado Media Instagram. Go follow. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hope to see you on gaming later. Again, we are playing Batman, The Dark Knight. It'll be cool. Lego. It'll be fun. It'll be like a fun game with Batman in it. And you can't go wrong. So check it out, guys. Like and subscribe. And I'll see you tomorrow on the next stream. Appreciate you again. Thank you to all the members. Thank you to the supporters of the stream. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.